Like I said, relax on it. Very relaxed.
What's the nicest compliment you've gotten for the show? Like if
Man, you guys are still going?
Yeah,
that's
that's
always a
about
good
what
compliment.
you can expect from a podcast.
It's always a good compliment.
Guys really talk. You say all the words. Have you gotten that before where someone just says that they, like, you're waiting as an artist to hear the actual compliment in there, but they'll just say, hey man, I've seen you perform before.
Yeah,
I know you.
What do you
Nothing
mean?
else.
Have I got the? I do a show called Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Most of the comments on the street are like, "Yo, you're the dude that does the show. Oh man, that show is forever. They won't stop showing that show." Never gets to the part where he's like, "I love watching it though."
Yeah.
It's always like, "Yeah, they just MTV, man. It should become the Ridiculousness Network." All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, man. I'm also the head of programming over there. You're welcome. Right, we are so bad at receiving compliments, but more giving compliments to people. Because I think they do mean that as a compliment of like, I see you and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's on a lot, but we don't go and say the thing you should say.
It's already so hard to accept a compliment.
Yeah.
So for someone to like, you know, you think you're getting one and get your hopes up and you're like, this is the part, will I do a better job in accepting this? And then you don't get one, there's nothing more heartbreaking than that.
Are you still that way? Could you still receive a compliment? Or are you still immediately like, oh, I'm going to shit on it before?
I'm really bad at compliments.
Yeah.
Like if you give me a compliment, I'm like, yeah, man, thanks, man. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I guess I like them because it makes me understand that whatever I'm working on, at least there's something good that's coming of it. But in the same breath, I always just feel so uncomfortable.
I'll even be searching for the non-compliment within a compliment.
Yes.
Where if somebody, and because to be honest, sometimes I give them too.
You give those to people.
I like being honest when I give somebody. So if somebody says to me like, "Good work up there," I'm like, "Fuck you, buddy."
Oh.
Like now,
that one hurt me. I've heard that before, and I wanted to punch you just for
Good
relaying
work?
that information. Good work. Great job up there.
Do I say good work to some people? Sometimes.
Yeah.
But and you know what? Usually it's because I couldn't say like that was funny. I'm like, you did a show.
Oh, the worst one.
You did that show.
It looks like you had a lot of fun up there.
Oh, I thought
You
were
had
gonna-
fun.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't for us, but you were up
Ooh.
there. I don't know how you do it. I don't know
Yeah.
how you just keep talking and it is not reciprocated. And you know what? You go.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. You're like, oh, fuck.
Because if I was you, and at that time, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do
So
it
I don't know
anymore.
how you do it.
Couldn't be me.
You're inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better at receiving this one where people will say, oh, thank God this worked out. I mean, you've been working your ass off. You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And I can't help but process that of like, you've been failing for a while.
Yeah, I mean, a part of that is that. Part of them is also being like, I think within that is like, I myself didn't expect you to win, but
Yeah.
here I am saying, congratulations.
Against all odds.
Yeah, and that feels good.
You
somewhat.
chose a really tough business.
Yeah.
And you're still
Right.
doing it.
Right.
You know?
And that's more than most.
hours that you have put in. You just work. Wow. And I think we all want that thing of like, you're just so, ideally in a world, you'd be so naturally talented that just everything comes to you. And it's not this calculated thing that you've plotted and had to work for, and then things not work out and you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we know that's not true.
No, not at all.
No, I always tell people it's everything else that makes you a star. If you come to somebody and say, "Oh, can you sing or can you do none of that shit?" I won't say it doesn't matter. It obviously matters, but it's everything else. All those other stars that have to align. The picking the right manager, the having the right person behind you, the person that believes in you, the person that's in there and saying, "Hey," it's every fucking thing else that makes you that you know hit that window or that sweet spot where you're like, "Oh, now I'm really watching everything pay off." Because for me to look at friends who are big actors, I'm like, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily the best actor. Not saying they're not, just saying that, you know, everything else goes into you being a superstar.
Right. You were at the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
And then you
all
also
that
happen
shit.
to be good on top of that. I
Yes.
think we just
So-
discount and say, oh, you got lucky. But you still have to have those things
For
where
sure.
it's like, well, yeah, you need to be good. So when you do get lucky, you can actually use the opportunity.
Proper preparation for physical performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Ridiculous came around, is that something that you were already doing something and they found you, or did you have to go into an office in Burbank and they show you a clip and you're like, you said crazy things?
Showed you your dick. And you were like, that's crazy.
Say something funny about this.
No, I was doing music. So I was doing A&R, and I was working in publishing and production. And Rob, his cousin, was doing a label and wanted to do production and stuff. And I was helping his cousin mold his whole label put together. And he came to the studio like twice. And was just like, hey, man, you're funny as shit. We should do a show together. One of those like fucking random ass moments.
He does have kind of one of those stories that
the most random story.
Where
In
it's
the
like, I was just hanging out being funny.
I was
and they were like, you should be on TV.
Oh,
right.
No, I didn't want to be on TV.
And then I was on 17 seasons of TV.
Yeah, I didn't want to be on TV at all.
You're all of MTV now.
Yeah. I literally did not want to be on TV at all. And he was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing TV? And I was like, people have told me I should, but I don't know. And he was like, all right, man, I had a new show I'm doing. It's already picked up. You know, it's America's Home Fun. It's a modernized America's Home Funny videos, blah, blah, blah. Would you be down to do it? I was like, maybe. I don't fucking know. It sounds dope, though. He literally called me 3 months later. Had not mentioned it again to me. Called me 3 months later. It was like, hey, yeah, this is Rob Deerdak. And he was like, we started filming that show tomorrow at 10 a.m. Can you be there? And I was like,
wait.
All right. And I went,
the next day?
yeah, it was 3 months later. No, 3 months later. But he didn't mention it.
But I'm saying, you need to be on set tomorrow.
The very next day, 10 a.m., yep. And I went out there and
To shoot the pilot.
we shot the pilot, and it was cool. And, from there, we're, season 26 right now?
That's a big commitment, because if you do like a sitcom or something, it's this whole conversation with agents, managers. There's tests, there's chemistry tests. You get to find out on a piece of paper how much money you're
agents
going to
or
make.
managers, me doing all my own negotiations, me going in there and being like, this is what the fuck I'm going to get. This is what I want. Crazy talk.
So unbeknownst to you, I mean, you essentially signed up for 17 seasons of a TV show.
I love that I signed up on my first contract for all 17 seasons. Gave my whole life away.
And he's still making $50 an episode.
But I'm happy. We did I think we had signed for like just 1 season, 2 seasons, and from there we would just go back in and renegotiate and shit.
Yeah, it's a nice show because it's, just someone else is doing the YouTube scrolling for you.
Yeah, you can find the videos because I'm controlling the remote control. Don't shit on me, Moses. Because people think I'm not controlling, and they come on set and they're like, "Wait, you really control all the videos?"
I didn't know
and
that.
I'm like,
for the
I
longest
am.
time.
You're actually pressing play.
No, I'm really controlling the videos. Like I'm really, it's not that fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it's like 6 buttons.
I majored.
Yeah.
No, legitimately didn't say a thing to me about that either. Shit. And Rob laughs about it to this day. The day I got there, the 10 a.m., they just handed me a remote that was not a regular remote control, and was like, "Hey, we think about you controlling the videos. We think it'd be cool." And and it was MTV at the time where blacks didn't have rights. They were like, "Hey, we just look at you as a DJ. Can we give you something to make you into a DJ?" And you're like, "I don't DJ." They're like, "You kind of do."
In our heads, every black guy DJs. Scritchity scratch, get to it.
Scritchity scratch.
Yeah. And so now in your life, when you are out, are people coming up to you like, "I gotta show you this video. You gotta get this on the show"?
I mean, yeah, of course. Now people will like email me. They'll DM me. They got my email.
Wait, they meet you in person. Wait, I'm gonna email you right now
to make sure it really works. No, they will of course DM, see me on the street and be like, "Yo, can I give you a video?" But you just try to stay as far as you can away from that shit, because it becomes like obviously people trying to get hurt or do things to give you a video, and then they only get $100. I watched your special, and it was a $200 license, and that we're still $100 in the game.
That's
Bob Saget would do people better apparently.
Bob Saget took care of people. $200 we got for our videos. But
it was a cold open though too.
But that was a time when video was scarce. I think if you're a photographer right now or you make funny videos online, it's such burnable content. There's so much video, so it's worth less.
Yeah.
So
you got gypped, honestly.
Well, to get a camera, I mean, $200 is that's very low for what a 1992 camera cost. just the physical production of 2 VCRs that you had to edit on.
Yeah, real shit.
So is it one of those cameras with like the big VCR tape
Yes.
inside of the corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
So and then because in the special you show all the clips of you guys trying to stage it, funniest home videos.
So the long and short of it is we grew up very poor, and my mom had all these schemes. She was a scammer growing up, and then one of the scams is that we would trick America's Funniest Home Videos, or if Ridiculous was on, we would try to get a video on there and say that it's real.
Yeah.
So we could get whatever cash prize that was. So it was her setting up sketches and bits that.
Which I fucking love, because my dad did some of the same
Yeah?
shit. We had a video camera. My dad tried to shoot a full movie.
Oh, why aren't we watching that right now?
My dad, look, we had a movie. We had an episode of Martin. We did a whole episode of Martin. We did our own episode of Martin. My brother was Martin, and we were all different characters. I was Jerome. I said Jerome in the house. So we all had our own characters. It was fucking crazy.
Did you get the script of Martin, or did you write an episode
We
of
wrote.
Martin?
We thought we were the funniest family on earth. We wrote the script. Yeah, my brother had a talk show. We filmed the talk show. My other brother, my dad was trying to figure out editing. He did my other brother a superhero because he learned how to edit and cut.
Oh, he could edit?
He was learning how to edit a
This
look.
is
94, 93, and 95.
90 editing in 93? That feels like
This
cutting
is
tape.
such an important story that we just glossed over because it was originally pitched to us as you were just in the studio smoking weed, being funny, and then no, you were predisposed to all of this.
Yeah.
Oh no, my dad is
You
like
had years of work.
he thinks he
into
can
his
do
dream.
anything.
Actually, your dad's dream came through that day. You didn't think
Yeah.
you worked to that point.
You're
but your
still
dad
going,
did.
Daddy, is this good?
Yeah.
Daddy, wait for it.
for sure. Yeah, my dad legitimately. The movie was a drama. He had died in the movie, which is crazy.
Oh my God.
That's
So as a 12-year-old, you have to deal with that?
I remember
emotion?
I had fucking two. I was making the sound effects for gunshots off camera, and I had two 2x4s in my hand, smashing them next to the camera. And he would get mad if it didn't sound right. But like, no, we have a full on, at least the beginning of a movie done, and then we have at least one episode of a talk show. And not only were we different characters on the talk show, then me and my brothers got together and performed as New Edition as the musical guest at the end of the talk show.
Chris, have you ever seen this footage?
I would love
This
to.
is an episode.
I have this on
That's
my
a-
laptop,
This is a
actually.
full
You have it
episode.
on your
I
lap?
have it on
like
my-
you have it in this house.
I believe so.
I would at least watch one clip. There's nothing else I could think that's more interesting.
Is there anything?
Maybe we should get to the fucking show.
All right, let's get to the show. Welcome to Wine and Weed.
Hey.
We're back for another week. I'm Chris Reinecker, a.k.a. the Chronosaur, and we're cutting it short, right? We racked
not
up a bunch of
doing
AKAs
AKAs.
over 4 seasons, and by the end of the last one, it was like AKA a paragraph. And now we're just
You
fucking
should just do
going
one
clean.
every week.
Okay,
Like,
AKA.
give me a
a new one, AKA.
A new
Oh,
every
I have
week.
to do
Yeah.
a new
A
one.
new one every week.
I had a new AKA.
Because they
People
they
gave
liked
me
the
one.
AKAs. They didn't want them to go away. They liked them.
Oh, we got-
What was your name in the talk show? What was your character? It could be a good
When I
AKA.
was in the talk show, I was Scottie Pippen, actually.
Okay, that's a
There
pretty
you
good
go.
AKA.
Steelo
Come
Brim,
on.
AKA
Scottie
Scottie
Pippen?
Pippen.
All right. Oh, no.
And everyone
It's a
says that
person
Chris is
living.
the Jordan of this podcast.
Ooh,
Everyone
AKA
says that.
Michael
They're
Jordan.
saying, they're definitely saying that for
You
sure.
read the Discord.
And joining us this week, the Dennis Rodman of comedy. Comedian.
That's Pete Davidson, but
actor.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's definitely comedian, actor, writer, improviser. What else do we call you?
Comic actor.
Comic actor.
Yeah.
He's got a new special on HBOMax.
Yeah.
Called Trash White. Moses Storm,
Yeah.
aka
AKA Little Bo Peep. AKA Little Baby Saddle Shoes.
Ooh, okay.
AKA the least tipped cam boy.
Least tipped
Tipped
cam boy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really a cam boy?
No.
Are there more
But
cam boys
that's
out
what
there?
makes me the least tipped
Yeah.
one. Is I haven't tried because I don't believe in myself.
Chris was supposed to start an actual OnlyFans last season. He never did.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah?
It
He had
was
agreed
very
to start an
encouraged.
OnlyFans. People did
Did I
encourage
agree?
you.
I was
Yeah, you
encouraged
did.
to, but not necessarily a sex OnlyFans, just an OnlyFans, because we found out that OnlyFans didn't have to be sex related.
Nobody
right?
ever told anybody they have to have.
Right.
There's nobody fucking regulating OnlyFans out there.
But-
Like, where's the fucking?
There was somebody who was trying to convince us on the show that OnlyFans was the future platform.
No, but
because
it's
you
not.
could monetize.
You are what you're the most famous for. Never forget that.
Whoa,
So
Jesus.
yes, you can do other things on
Jesus
OnlyFans,
Christ.
but that's not how people know you if you're on
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
But what if you just
That's
did-
like I go to Pornhub for the ads. That's where I find out all about my new sex toys. Is there? It's
What if
like
you did
they
just
have
stand up?
videos.
You could do just stand up on OnlyFans and just do like, weekly sets. You're like, yo, I'm not going to do
Yeah.
an hour special anymore. I'm doing 10 minutes a week and I'm giving out the best 10 minutes on OnlyFans each week.
I have thought about uploading the special on Pornhub because people that
But with my dick out.
that live in the UK or live in Australia and don't know how VPNs work have been reaching out to ask to watch the special.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
But Pornhub, whatever is embedded in it goes everywhere.
Moses Storm could totally be a porn name.
It really could, right?
Moses Storm, yeah, for sure.
Moses
Moses
That's
Storm.
A really good porn
It's a great porn name.
Moses Storm
I think I searched
gives
that without
oral
even
to
knowing.
Big Black Mike.
You're gonna be most famous for that. I'm still getting around the you are what you're most famous for. Are you trying to tell me that if you got cast in a dramatic film, you're all of a sudden a dramatic actor? And
Do
you're
you
not a
disagree
talent?
with him? I kind of agree with what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I agree with that. I don't like it at all, but unfortunately, that's the truth. I think when I knew everyone at BuzzFeed, it was like, oh, you the Chili's guy that went to the airport. That was at the time the thing I was known for. Or if you
That's not who you are.
no, you are to people what you are the most
Okay.
famous for.
Yeah,
But
there we
it's
go.
not who you are
Just
as a
needed it
person.
fixed.
It's legacy.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
just
what I'm saying?
people's perception of what they see.
We just spoke about this earlier, and we said how O.J. Simpson is a Hall of Fame football player,
Right.
won a Heisman, and did everything else. What is he
Great
known
guy.
for, Christopher?
I know
Murder.
him just as a running back. Just as a running back who's hawking the vaccine, which is insane that OJ is going online and he's trying to convince people
to take the vaccine.
to,
yeah.
to get the jab.
I'm like, okay, dude.
If you were an anti-vaxxer your whole life and then that's what pushed you over, if OJ was the guy.
Also, it's like, yeah, don't use a guy.
You would have to say, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for OJ Simpson.
That'd be a horrible thing to say.
Ironic.
OJ saved my life. His jab saved my life.
Yeah, you can't use him
I
to
wonder if
convince
it's
people
like
not to die.
if he believes in it or he's just trying to go so pro-life now because he's known
running
for-
with Caitlyn.
Oh yeah,
This
right.
just happened right now, yeah. He's definitely running with Caitlyn. Now, I feel like OJ was talking about running for office or some shit, wasn't he?
But okay, Caitlyn's
really
a
gonna
great
happen.
example because Caitlyn is someone that at the time was the most famous for hitting someone with her car.
Yes.
And then I'm going to be the most famous for coming out as trans.
Yes.
So that was a bunch of PR girls that were born in Newport that told her it's like now's the time, and change the narrative. You are what you are the most
Now's
famous
the
for. So
time.
that's what she's the most famous for, and that story got completely buried.
Wow.
I think that was more Kris Jenner than anybody.
You think you giving Chris that credit?
Yeah.
We're a gossip fucking podcast now. We're giving Chris
We
the
are
credit.
now.
You really think Chris was the person who was like, let me clean this up for you real quick before you leave?
Yeah.
I mean, they're very good
I
at
think they
navigating
have
fame.
every media
Yeah.
outlet kind of in their pockets.
And more importantly than that, they are good at it.
They're very good,
When
yeah.
people would say they're not talented, they're talentless. Actually, no, that's a very smart family.
Yeah.
They grew up
they're
here.
very
that-
calculated.
Yeah.
They're an LA family
I
that
didn't even-
just are part of the rich and famous world.
I didn't even think about the fact that both of the running mates would be murderers.
yeah.
Well, I'm just saying they would get what? They might be able to lure people
Exactly.
All the
Exactly.
murderers.
in. Yeah,
vote
all
for them.
them. We've cracked so many cases. Everybody that voted for them is a clear
Someone
murderer.
like me in office. Let's get into the stories of the week.
Let's do it.
Instagram is testing paid subscription model for influencers. Instagram is rolling out an early test for creator subscriptions in the United States, offering accounts the opportunity to make money from their content. The trial run involves 10 U.S. creators who can offer such subscriptions to their followers. Instagram has stressed that this is an alpha test and they will be seeking feedback on the feature from both creators and followers. Creators do what they do to make a living, and it's important that this is predictable, said head of Instagram. Subscriptions are one of the best way to have a predictable income, a way that is not attached to how much reach you get any given post, which is inevitably going to go up and down over time.
Instagram becomes OnlyFans.
Basically, Instagram is giving creators 8 different price points from 99 cents per month up to 99.99 per month. Subscriptions
Oh,
will
word?
allow followers to get access to subscriber-only Instagram stories, saved highlights, and exclusive live broadcasts.
We
Fans
know
will
what
get
the question
subscriber
is.
badges when they comment on such content, making it easy for creators to identify them.
Can they not get, okay, question number one. can they not get nasty? Is this just a way for Instagram to become OnlyFans and do it in a classy
but
way?
I think Instagram flags content like that. So I don't.
But if
think
you
Right now
subscribe
they
to
do.
it,
But if you subscribe to it and they're saying like it's like close friends.
I don't think they would allow that to happen.
can you do nips on close friends?
Yeah, you
I
can do
don't-
whatever the fuck you
no,
want.
things get taken
You can
down
fuck
on
with close friends.
But okay,
No,
so
you
can
can't.
Things get
Instagram
taken
see
down.
close friends?
Yes.
Which they can, but do they police it?
Things will get taken down. I've had
Oh,
things
close
that-
friends?
Yeah.
You have to.
Really?
I'm pretty
People
sure.
be fucking on close
Chris,
friends.
do you want to test this right now?
Put my dick on close friends and see what
Just
happens.
put your butt, and
Yeah,
I'll
you
be
should've
like,
started with your
I'll be
butt.
like licking your butt, and in the
You'll be
Instagram.
licking my butt?
Well, like it'll be like pantomime like that, and we'll see how long it takes to get taken down off of close friends.
I actually don't have a close friends, and I wonder if anybody
I don't either.
feels like I'm dissing them.
I
I'm
do,
not.
but
I
a
don't
lot
have
of
close
people are
friends.
on it just because I'm like, this is a thing, and I feel bad about excluding anyone.
See, I don't have a close friends either. You have close friends?
I do have close friends.
What's going on close friends? What are people doing?
Shit
Just because you
talking.
don't have it doesn't mean you don't
Are
follow
you
people with
on
close
no
friends.
one else's close friends?
Oh yeah, I forget that people.
Chris was so scared.
What does a green circle mean to you?
People add me to their close friends all the time. You ever go on somebody's page who you don't follow?
Yeah.
And then you see that there's a green circle on their shit, and you're like, wait, why am I all your close friends and I don't even follow you?
I
didn't know you
wish
could do
I
that.
No.
I
had.
probably see
That
you
happens
like
all the
pictures
time.
before, like watch their story before, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Ooh, I want to have you on my close
The
friends."
close friends, I like pictures of that for you to include me in your close
Yeah.
friends. That's wild.
I wish I was that humble because when I see it, I'm like, makes sense. I'm pretty influential in this person's life that I met once at a party.
Are you here for this? Are you okay with them?
Yeah,
would
close
you-
friends is mainly, in my experience, it's comedians talking shit about other comedians. So it's like reposting stuff that they've posted that's maybe cringe, but it's just a shit talking thing.
Would you do stand up on Instagram?
No, I think that the
If it was-
past 2 years have been the worst 2 years for stand up.
I know, but $100 a month. Think about how many fucking people you get. Come in a month.
I more zoom out and be like, if Instagram is adding a paid subscription model, it's over. It's no longer cool. You've gotten money. That means there was a boardroom where they had to talk. What's the next steps? Because we're getting crushed by TikTok right now, which is the cool app. So then they were like, what about paid subscription? So we keep people with a lot of followers around. And so for me, when I heard that article that she read, it was like, oh, it's over. It's Facebook.
Over.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I also think that it's a little bit of trying to the people who are addicted to Instagram to get them like in even more, which I think is like sinister in a way as well.
Right.
It's like people can't live without the Instagram, so let's put a price on it so that
Yeah, but do you think it's to the point that like people who can't live without things, right? Because they don't have to, right? Because if it's free, sometimes you don't have to. When you put a price on things, it makes you make a decision. It makes you prioritize things, and like I don't know if you're necessarily just being like, "Fuck it, I can't get off Instagram, so now I'm gonna pay for Instagram," because like
It's a 49-year-old's understanding of how the internet works. The way the internet works is it's this thing that you almost feel guilty about. You're wasting time. And the fact that you would pay money for something we're all guilty about is insane.
it's insane.
if it was good
Because of porn, I'm
content-
not paying for it. I'm
Porn,
not paying.
it's like I get to
I'm not
see
paying
someone
money, though.
nude.
I'm still not paying money. I'll
I'm
be real
saying
with you.
like OnlyFans, you get to pay to see someone and you get off on that intimacy that you have with this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, porn you're not paying for. Social media should never be paid. You should be able to slip in product and brand deals. But as far as paying for it, no.
Are they trying to say that you would not get paid based on, you'd have like a price point, like almost a salary that you get paid no matter what tier level you're at?
Yeah, you
or would
set
they say
your
that
own subscription level.
Yeah, it's
but
like
you get all
OnlyFans.
the
So
money?
$5,
You get
you do
all
a
the
Patreon,
money. Okay.
essentially.
I
Yeah.
imagine there's a processing fee and that they're taking some kind of money off top of it.
Right. I was not understanding when they said there were different price points that like you enter the influencer program and we guarantee you $400,000
No, I think they're saying they
a year.
cap you at $100 a month, that you can't go over that. If you're gonna charge somebody, it's only $100 a month is the max. I think it's smarter for them to introduce this like other streaming platforms or anything else where you're doing maybe like $10 to start, $9.99, and you only let it be there for the max, and then you let it organically grow. But when you start at $100, it's just such
Yeah.
a large amount. And then if you're talking about tiers, if you're talking about celebrities believing how much they're worth, then you're going to get the people who actually can get these people to buy for so much, unless they're just saying, you know what, this shit adds up. Obviously, we do this for $5, we do this for 20, whatever the fuck it is, we make that shit adds up. But I can, the Kim Kardashians and those of the world, I would imagine they would go with the max.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think they would? Do you think they would?
Fuck yeah, they want to make money. They're
Wow.
like, yo,
People will pay
$100. Or the only way they don't is if they're looking at it and being like, you know what, I'm already so rich. This is just one more fucking stream of income, one more revenue of income for me to get. If I do $10 a month and I have 200 million followers, yeah, I'm fine.
It's so hard to put your credit card's security number in, though. That's such a decision.
I agree.
That's
why
always
all
the
these
moment.
They're
apps
connected with
and
Apple,
Venmo
though.
is like the things that are successful are like you use Shopify where you just hit one button.
Yeah.
Or Amazon has that just buy now, so you don't have to be like, that's my address.
Yeah.
I pay this much for rent. What kind of shipping do you want? It's free shipping and all these steps. And if you just do buy now, you would spend more money.
You don't think Instagram will already have that? They've already introduced shopping.
I think
Shop
they're
now
flailing in the
Yeah, they
wind,
do.
and I think they're over. I think Snapchat is still alive just because tweens are they're sending each other like nudes, but other than that, it's completely dead. Instagram is being taken over by Gen Xers and boomers. It just every social media app has a good 8 to 10 years of notoriety, and then TikTok is winning right now.
Yeah, I think that the only way Instagram or any of these companies, Facebook, will continue to survive is just to be the big money take little money, and then all
Yeah.
you can hope to do is keep buying whatever is new and cool, and even if you're just taking out more money against it, you can still keep hoping to buy those things in hopes to stay afloat.
Yeah.
And I think they've shown already they will do that. They're not afraid to do that.
Yeah. The metaverse was fun. That's fun. Changing your name when there's a big scandal.
Yeah.
Meta.
That's the right way
We're
to
not
do
That's
it.
a
Facebook
very Caitlyn Jenner move.
It is.
Oh, we've been selling everyone and propagating hate, and we're basically responsible for January 6th. What if we were metaverse? Though? What if that was the story?
I'm Mark the Meta guy, not the Facebook guy.
So I wonder what IHOP did when they changed their name,
Yeah.
right?
What
Like,
is
what
it,
did we not
IHOP?
hear about? Like, someone ate an
They went
eyeball.
back though. They
did
cleaned
go
that
back.
shit
They
up
went
quick
back.
and
They
went
act
back.
like it never happened.
Yeah, they killed somebody else.
That bullshit. That was
Marketing.
all on purpose.
No,
Yeah,
it
that
was.
was all.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was a
planned
marketing.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Woman finds out she won $3 million in lottery after checking her email spam folder. A Michigan woman accidentally discovered she'd won a $3 million Mega Million prize from the lottery after checking her email spam folder. Laura Spears, a 55-year-old from Michigan, had purchased a Mega Millions ticket on the Michigan Lottery website for the December 31st drawing. After matching the 5 winning numbers, Spears' prize tripled to $3 million thanks to a bonus called Mega Piler, according to a January 21st Michigan Lottery news release. I saw an ad on Facebook that the Mega Millions jackpot was getting pretty high, so I got on my account and
So
bought a
Facebook
ticket.
works out sometimes. For people.
Sometimes that's the mile. Chris, who's just got invested today.
A few days later, I was looking for a missing email from someone, so I checked the spam folder in my email account. That's when I saw an email from the lottery saying I had won a prize.
Yeah, but
Which
like, who
sounds
the
fake
fuck,
as
yeah,
fuck.
who the fuck clicks? Email that says you won a prize.
This story was funded and paid for by Nigerian princes.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
no way that we need some positive PR. What if you did check your spam folder? So they all banded together. Someone was in a
It
living
has
room,
to be.
and they were like, "We just need to give up $3 million, and I guarantee you more people are gonna click
We've
on our
made
website."
so much over the years, guys.
We are
$3
not
million.
selling herbal Viagra anymore.
Have you guys been getting all those Instagram DMs of like the people being like, please help me?
Oh, but
Yeah.
they have 4 followers.
Yeah. And they're just like, they're the hackers. Like everyone's getting their
Yeah.
Of
Instagram
course.
hacked. But I'm
But
like,
who are the people that click those?
I don't know. But
Is
I
it
knew
like
a lot
please?
of people that got their
Is it like
emails.
please help me? And it's like a bunch of medical stuff.
I never click it.
Dude,
I
it's-
just see the headline like, please help me. It was either that or they're the get verified on Instagram.
Yes,
or
to get
whatever.
Oh
verified.
no! Do you
To
want
get
more
verified.
followers?
yeah.
And then
Those
you
ones
look
too.
at their profile, and it's like 22 followers.
Why don't you give yourself this program?
Wait, did this work for you?
Speak for yourself.
That is the most confident, terrible business pitch I've ever heard in my life. Like, do you want to be a millionaire? And this guy's like, he's living on the street.
It is, but then there's nothing that makes me laugh more than like seeing somebody on your timeline be like, I got hacked. And then my brain goes immediately to like, why would you click that?
Why did you?
Oh,
Because we all get
yeah.
the same emails. Why would you click that
Right.
Why
one?
did you click that? I wanted to be verified.
I got hacked, but just because I logged into a computer at a hotel.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think it was like the actual person right after you?
No. It was just someone that, I mean, there's so much malware on hotel computers, and they don't have the secure networks. It's just like Jan from the Midwest that's running the whole computer system. So it doesn't, it has zero security. So I needed to print something out. And Twitter was hacked, and then the email was hacked.
The hotel is owned by Nigerian princes.
Yeah, but that whole story of women doing that is getting everyone to check their spam. I 100% believe that they funded that. They put up $3 million, and they actually gave her that $3 million so that this story could be planted, so all of us would check our email.
You believe this?
100%.
You think they actually gave her the
scammers in general? It's not exactly Nigerian princes.
No, we know.
What a small price to pay for what everyone is going to do now. Now we're going to open up those links because, like, well, maybe that woman.
Wow. I mean, how many did this really reach, and what percentage of those people?
It made it on this show.
I mean, it's reached millions now.
So,
I saw this before the show, too.
There's people that don't agree with this show and everything that's on it, but there's still, now that's subliminally in their head. Some people, the best compliment you can get about your podcast is I fall asleep to you every night. That's the best compliment you can get.
You think so?
Wow.
To be that comforting.
People say to us, like, I watch your podcast at work. It gets me through my work day all the time. And they say,
I work at JFK in the control booth. I watch your show every week.
I smoke to your show.
So I lost a few flights, but that is the highest compliment, because there is such a level of intimacy right before you fall asleep that if you ever get that, that's the best. That's how I found out about your show.
And then
is I fell asleep to it. It was Chris Redd's episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? We've had Chris Redd on
we
twice,
got
but never
into
once on the actual
show.
We haven't had him
show.
in the
Yeah,
living
it's
room
crazy.
yet.
It's the live shows.
Yeah.
We love Chris Redd. Shout out to Chris Redd.
I also think that if this lady is this type of person, she's going to get scammed out of that
Right.
$3 million.
She's going to lose that. Right. She's going to click on some pink on purple font and some new email and be like, maybe again.
Well, they told her the big check was a real check.
Yeah. Because
And that
$3
probably
million
works with her.
goes so fast.
Yeah, well, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live. What does she live? Michigan, right? What
I
part of
feel like
Michigan?
Oh, yeah. You could buy
small town in
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah,
She's in
probably
Flint.
goes a long way.
Yeah,
Not in Flint.
you could be doing well, but then again, she might now have a reputation of the person who won the lottery.
For sure.
And then
Have you ever watched the
expected
show?
to live
Bad
that
luck, right?
lifestyle.
Have you ever
Bad
watched the
luck
show?
to win the lottery?
The Lottery Ever Ruined My Life?
Yeah.
Right. The Lottery Ruined My Life used to be a show.
No.
It used to be good. I used to watch that show all the time.
Is that like on TLC? or
Yeah,
something?
it was people
And
that
the
won the
lottery
lottery
does.
and
Yeah.
the lottery ruined their lives.
Because it's people that are
Wow.
not built to have
No.
money. There's people like you who your dad was hustling from a very young age. You are built to have money. You're
We didn't
supposed
have
to have
it.
money. And when you do have money, you know how to deal with it because you appreciate it. You know how to turn it into more money. But people that win the lottery do not know how to deal with money. They don't know how to cut people off. They don't know how to say no to relatives in their life that are like, I need this, I need my hip surgery, and they just need money. So it is a curse for people that were not meant to have money.
In simplest terms, if you won the Pimp My Ride,
I always feel bad.
What are the
for
odds those
those
fish are still alive that were in your glove box?
It's like, I don't know. I have a blender in the back seat of my car.
My car
now.
gets broken into
all the
constantly.
time. I got robbed as soon as I pulled off the lot. And some dude died from it. I've mentioned
Oh,
this
really?
before. Yeah, Pimp My Ride is responsible for death.
Also trying to
because-
sell
MTV
that.
fires me tomorrow.
Because someone tried to carjack him.
Yeah. It was that, even like
Hey
that.
man, I gotta get that chandelier in my life. I've always wanted to
Don't
see
you
a
got a
Honda
grill in your
CRV.
I also love Pop-Tarts. I need to get them going in
I
my
love
glove
that the
compartment.
toaster is in between the fish tanks.
The fish tanks.
Yeah, the fish tank was in the
Yeah.
glove pot.
I forgot about those fish tanks. Those were so
Between that and
unnecessary.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Because they used to give people those
Oh,
houses too.
But no one would want to be anyone that's on Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
No,
everyone's
that's
story was
true.
the saddest thing in
Dude,
the world, right?
I used to dream about being on the show until I watched religiously.
Do you have both your legs?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I lost both my legs in a salmonella accident. Both my sons got drafted. They're currently fighting, and they're both dead. I have Ebola of the eyes, and I just bought a kitchenette.
They're both dead.
You had to have the saddest life
The
to be on Extreme
saddest.
Makeover Home Edition.
It was always 8 kids or more in one house.
Right, and I would always watch
None
that.
belonged to the person living.
I remember watching it as a kid and
sounds
being like,
great.
well, that bunk bed is not going to bring their father back.
Yeah.
I don't care that the bunk bed is Sonic themed.
I don't get the bunk bed's a speakeasy.
Right. What? That's the classiest kid, by the way. He's got a speakeasy. This kid,
Opens
he's a
up the
killer. He's got a smooth jazz. He's got some cabaret girls that he's like a little abusive
Yeah,
towards. Like, I don't
Delilah.
like this.
Name my own Delilah.
It's just like Pin My Ride for homes. I've never seen HGTV.
Oh,
This is not
no.
HGTV.
This
This is the Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yes.
Extreme Makeover
What was his name?
Home
Ryan?
Edition.
What was?
I remember the
Ty?
name.
They were
of
all
this.
named Ryan.
Ty.
His name is
It was
Ty.
Ty, you're
and
right.
He was like the guy that your mom dates after your dad. His voice was all gruff, and he's like super into
He
construction.
really was.
Ty something. I don't think he had a
Yeah.
last name. He might have been like Zendaya hot, where he just had Ty.
Yeah.
Ty.
And he would come in and be like, all right, so I know that your sons are in Iraq right now, and we
Yeah.
support Iraq, and we should definitely keep staying in there. But we want to give you a pool that's above ground, but it's also cool because it's 2 levels up.
He was such a brand of white guy.
He was such a
Ty
brand of white
Pennington.
He
guy.
really was.
Ty Pennington.
Yeah,
that's
he
what
was
it
like
is.
Actually has
an
a new
off.
show.
Oh, yeah, where is he now?
off-brand, like
He
Ryan
has a new
Seacrest.
show. I actually just saw it on the flight.
Wait,
That was
what?
The other day. It was
What's the new show?
You don't remember Ty Pennington? They had a
You don't
full
remember?
like they had like a Project Runway lineup of people who put the house together. There was
Yeah.
like a dude that was like interiors my thing. Trust
Right.
me.
You could tell like high school was rough for him. Yeah, that was fun. And then there was always like some white woman that's like, I do that paint. And it's like she had a problem with like wine and pills.
it's called Tiebreaker.
That's his real name?
No, that's the new show.
The new show.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
on
Pennington.
Ty-
HGTV.
And
Oh,
what's the
okay.
synopsis of the show?
But
Does it break
Extreme
Ty?
How does he
Makeover-
look too?
He looks the exact same.
Really?
You want to see if I was just looking
Yeah,
at
I mean,
Ty?
fucking your mom keeps him pretty young.
I feel like
Oh,
Yeah, okay, that's a
no,
different
no,
bad-
no, no. That was
that's
like a
a
dick.
bad
okay,
That's
he's
a
making a funny face.
That's a Batman villain. That's like him and Lori Lightfoot are the new Batman
Oh
villains.
shit.
Okay, so what's the synopsis of the show? We cut her off. What's the synopsis?
That is a
let's see.
brand of older white guy for sure.
Right?
I know that brand.
But doesn't that mean like, you know, I'm in your mom now and I know things are a little weird, Chris, but
But I want to be your friend.
I want to let you know you can sit on my lap. I listen to your podcast. I know you hate me.
But I smoke weed
Your
too.
stepdad that listens to your podcast.
believe
What a
it.
type. Okay. So I got to hear the synopsis of the show.
With help from other designers, Ty Pennington helps conflicted homeowners decide whether to overhaul their current home or renovate a different property to suit their needs. It's
Is
like,
this the
it's like
last house?
Wait,
so it's
there's
all
a
white
show
people.
like that.
It's all white people. That's the
List
whitest
or
problem I've
lease,
ever
or
heard.
Love it or list it. That's
Love
what
it or
it is.
list
It's
it.
just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of privileged life are you living? Where it's
I-
like, should I keep my house or invest in a new one?
the pun doesn't really play. Tie breaker, is it TY breaker?
Yeah.
T.Y. Breaker.
What's the
Does he
pun
decide
here?
if you sell your home?
And does it break him in
Tiebreaker,
some way?
dude. Tiebreaker.
This is the.
But what's the breaker?
The breaker?
Oh.
The breaker's like the switches in your house. Ties,
I
check
like
your
the show-
breaker.
He's just-
He's gonna check your breaker.
It is a
It's
bad pun on
tiebreaker
his
time.
name.
It
I like
is.
the
But it's not even a bad pun. It doesn't even mean anything. It's just
Tiebreaker,
two
right.
words. But like, what's the fucking tie?
Well,
that's happening?
tiebreakers. You know what
But-
tiebreakers are in sports?
I know, but is he choosing it for you?
Is there a tie going on?
It's between the house and selling the house.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
a tie.
Too.
He's the tiebreaker.
I like a show
It's
where
not-
tie
that's
It also
crazy
feels
of
like
a-
it's breaking
Ty-
tie.
Hey, Ty, I
if the
got your
pun-
back on this podcast.
If the pun is tie breaker, it feels like we're breaking tie.
Right, like he's
No,
gonna
what
cry
the fuck?
for all the
No.
for all the baddies.
Yeah.
Or
You
Ty
got
comes into your life, right, and you have no choice. He either sells your home or he renovates it, and it's called Tie Me Up.
yeah, okay.
And your mom watches it religiously, and she's a little too excited to watch
Okay.
it.
It's a better pun. It's a better pun because like you're tied up in the problem. Tie is
I
involved.
don't know how physically
problem
ties you up on the
helping you
show.
out.
I made
Ty-
sense of the pun. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's that both houses, he's choosing to flip or flop.
Yeah.
He's choosing to fucking sell or keep.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
wants the tiebreaker. He's Ty. And sports analogy, sports. Ty watches a lot of sports. Let me start with that. Ty is just saying, hey, what if we went with tiebreaker? Tiebreaker definitely, Ty was definitely in Point Break at some point. That
Ty-
also makes sense.
That would make sense.
He looks
if
like
that
a guy
was
from
part
Point
of
Break,
it.
right?
Right,
If-
he does, but not like the main bully. He's
No.
like he's like the guy that's like, yeah,
The fifth
get him.
lead, yeah.
yeah.
When he said they cut my lawns out. That's what he said.
Right.
His friend saw, he said, they cut me out of this. It's crazy.
I hope that there's a lot of breaker puns like through the entire.
By the way,
thing.
we have entered some sort
Just
of
to
portal
justify
to
it.
hell because no one has mentioned Ty Pennington in a good 12 years.
He is
Right,
loving this.
But his name is like
Yeah.
is enough to make his
It's
own
enough.
You know
show
his
a
name.
pun.
I don't believe in manifesting, but he's manifesting. He's doing some work with his God.
Yeah.
That he is like, I'm going to get mentioned on this podcast. Someone's going to look him up from this.
This guy manifests
He
for sure.
For sure.
That guy has vision boards.
Guys, if you're listening to the podcast, pull up a photo. This
Wallpaper.
guy manifests 100%. There's no way he doesn't have Eckhart Tolle,
everywhere.
some sort of quote on his back.
And so does, I mean, so I don't know who that is with her, but him, but that's definitely a manifestation.
He's
Google
the man.
white woman,
He
that's
has
the
a
photo that
houseboat.
comes up. If you just Google white woman, that comes up.
He definitely has a houseboat.
She has a
He
big
definitely
floppy
does. I like that.
hat. She has a wrist tattoo.
Yeah.
She has bracelets.
She's got a 14-year-old daughter that hates her.
She manifests.
That's a white woman. She definitely manifests. Which, I
What's the
mean,
next one?
Sure.
Oh, that's
unless
all
you
right.
have, unless you have
No, no,
further
yeah, keep
thoughts
going,
on
keep
no,
going.
I was just talking about
manifestation.
manifesting. Is like people would give us that advice because we grew up obviously very poor. We were homeless. And then people would always give my mom advice about like you just got to manifest. You got to believe in yourself. It's about positive thinking. And I do think that self-help is privilege. That it works if you're already rich.
Yeah, for sure.
You can manifest if you have the time to manifest. If you don't have 5 kids and you're living on the street, then you have time to meditate and think about what you want. And it's not about like stepping up to the plate. So every time I wish I'm at a point now because we live in LA and a lot of people are into self-help. I wish it actually worked. Like I wish I was, stupid's the wrong word, but I wish I knew less to actually believe in self-help because it would help me out in my life.
You know what? I went to I've been to therapy a couple times now in different times in my life. So the first time I definitely went in with a mentality that was like, I'm about to manipulate this whole fucking shit.
Yeah.
They're not smart enough. I'm gonna do this, and I did do that, and it went the way I thought it would go, and I was like,
Did you make her cry, the therapist?
I made her tell the girl I was with at the time, you're lucky to even know him.
Wow, you
crazy.
Yeah.
a piece of shit.
Thank you.
It's
That's
really-
pretty
Not anymore,
great.
but
Stage.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
It's quite
win.
a stage. Yeah.
What a win. What did you say to Rob Dyrdek?
He's lucky to even know me.
But yeah, the few times you've been to therapy.
Well, yeah, the first time I went, it was just like this thing that I like kind of went in with this mentality. I wanted
And
to
you
manipulate.
controlled those 2 sessions.
I controlled those sessions. And then also the next time I went in with just more vulnerability and just telling myself that I actually wanted to be more free in myself and tell the truth, whether or not that truth hurt me or not, whether or not, there's some stuff that I want to talk about or not. And I think that, you obviously get more out of it that way. You get more out of it being more vulnerable. But I do think that, yeah, if you, like anybody else, you can manipulate situations and you can.
What happened that third time that made you let your guard down?
The second time is more.
Okay.
When I let, actually, no, you're right. Actually, it was the third time. That's crazy. Second time,
You're psychic.
I went in and I just.
I was just listening to the words he says.
The second time I went in, it was more just. It was a different situation. The third time, I just wanted to be a better me.
Okay.
I just
But I'm
wanted
saying,
to
like, what
do
was
better.
the thing that made
Oh,
you
money.
want to be
You're
a
right. It
better
was
you?
money. I got richer.
You got
and
richer.
I wanted to be a better me.
And you had time to be like, you had time to explore your life, and it wasn't about hustling and like,
No.
fuck, how am I going to pay for these parking tickets?
No,
It was like,
for sure. But I've been there a million times. I've moved out here with nothing. We didn't grow up with anything like that. Like ain't like I came from some privilege or anything. So for me, yeah, I've been there, and I think you kind of just gotta make time for whatever you want to. That sounds fucking crazy, but at the same time, like I would have most nights ended at 6 a.m. and I'd be back up at 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. working already again, and it wasn't fair to my body and shit. But I knew I wanted something. There was a goal at the end of that, and I knew, like, of course, just because you're putting something into the product or this doesn't mean your job is done. I've always been a person. I came from A&R. I came from working in management, so I've always been a behind the scenes person and being like, all of these things are actually what makes this thing go. Whether or not it's me pitching a song to somebody and me being like, okay, well, I know for that song to actually get placed, it's the massaging of the relationship. It's this. It's making the person feel as they need this record. It's all of those other things other than just the record. The record itself, I can pitch it, I can do whatever I can with it, but if I don't have a salesman, if I don't have a team or different things around it to make that thing go, then it's just work in vain. So I think that work
to sell, yeah. Or the actual artist to sell if they don't have the story that people could get on board with.
Yeah, even then, it's still about being able to tell that story. You know what I'm saying? Like each of us are brands and all of us have a brand story. It's about making sure that you can articulately tell that story of whatever that brand story is, and then make people care.
Have you come around to appreciating the hustle that your father put in? Because I feel like at a young age, what I had is like, just why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And then as an adult, when I make my own mistakes, and I realize really how hard it is, it's come back around to forgiveness. Have you gotten to that point?
Big time. I was like, have you as well? I'd rather let you answer it too, but no, big time for me. Every day I see myself, I see my dad in me more and more and more and more and more. I'm like, fuck, I'm just this dude. Fuck it. But in the same breath, like I'm appreciative that I'm that guy because, I took all of his things. Not to say legacy is just, we're all one person. It's just a continuation and making sure you can sow whatever you can into that child, into that person. They can carry on whatever that is and continue to make a better version of you, whether that be the first person that started. So for me, it's like I'm happy to be my dad because I know that all the work he put in to get to wherever he got, I can just carry it on from there and make a better version of him. And I hope to pass on to my son and help him be a better version of who I am.
Is that right, though?
I don't know if it's right.
This is what I want to know, too, because I have the exact same mentality.
Yeah.
And I had to explore that of do I want kids because I actually want kids, or am I trying to make my own life work out? Am I trying to make a better version of like, I'll show you, here's how you should do it. Here's the 2.0 version of my life. And I don't know if that's a good reason to have kids.
Do you want kids now?
I do, but if I keep digging down and I keep asking myself the question, you don't stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so why? Well, why do you want another person? Why do you want to take care of someone? If we keep going down that rabbit hole, you ask yourself those really tough questions. What I got down to is I'm trying to make up for my bad childhood.
And what do you think that the answer that you want it to be?
I want it to be out of genuine love that I want to take care of someone. And unfortunately right now it's that I want to heal myself and fix all the things about how humiliating it is to be poor, how humiliating it is to have a parent that hustles and doesn't give no for an answer. Yeah. And everyone in the grocery store is like, lady, stop, or your father, stop.
Do you think it's too late to fix yourself now?
Oh, yeah. It's not a healthy way. That's why I was like, pump the brakes on that idea.
Yeah.
Because that will never work.
Well, and also you're gonna
make some fucking Tom Brady psycho who doesn't Tom Brady's such a psycho. He doesn't even have sideburns,
Yeah,
like what
that's
a psycho.
Crazy talk. Yeah.
So that's clearly his father that wanted to be a football star that pushed him impossibly hard. That even when he's 41 and his body is broken, he's still pushing himself.
Why do you think he kisses his
games.
son on the mouth at the age of 12 and makes his son do it?
Exactly.
You think that was a father thing?
That is such a profound insight into what that is and how deeply unhealthy that is. that the father sees him as an extension of himself, so it's not weird to kiss your son because it's like you're kissing yourself.
Wow. That wasn't enlightening.
Wow. It was.
So do you think that when it comes to if you're trying to raise
Wait,
your
I don't
kid
want you to run from it. Do you want to have a child as well? Like, do you want to reproduce, and why do you want to reproduce?
You're at the point now
it's an interesting question to ask.
You are
why,
financially
right?
stable enough where you could have a kid and they would have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a baby tomorrow, whoever you're with or whoever you hook up with next.
Well, it's just it's abandoning getting to be selfish. And that's kind of like, I do think I'll give everything to that when it happens. And that's kind of the fear. It's like, oh, I don't get to be selfish anymore and get to do what I want to do because I'm going to fall in love with this child and make them, my life will become about them.
Wait,
so it's like, do I want to go abandon? Have I done kind of the things that I want to do in my life before I'm ready to go be like, not that I'm going to have to abandon that completely, but you have to abandon it a lot.
But that is very true.
And I think it'll be my nature to like find more fulfillment in having a child in a certain way. Not more fulfillment, but a different type of fulfillment. So sure, more fulfillment. Probably,
your cup has to be
if
full.
It's true what they say.
Your cup has to be full to give it to someone else. And if you feel like there's things that you haven't accomplished in your life, then you have a Tom Brady situation. His father kissing him out of mouth because his father felt like he did not accomplish his dreams. So when he had a kid, he's trying to push him and pour everything into him. Yeah. So, if you don't feel like...
But will we ever feel accomplished? I mean, we live in a city that doesn't allow us to.
No.
So, isn't it hard? Like, I mean, if we lived back where, I don't know exactly where you're from again?
So technically Florida, we lived in a bus sometimes. And then when we lost the bus, we were, be in between places. But we were constantly moving around. My parents were missionaries for a cult. Okay. So we were everywhere. Hear that story. Oh, yeah.
With you, oh shit! Did I forget my shit? Am I high?
But they were everywhere, and a lot of Florida. So like a lot of who I am, like those very poignant moments in your life, happened in Florida, which is embarrassing because you have to say that out loud to people. Like, where did I learn what love is and abandonment is? Like Florida, Panama City, Florida too. It's even worse. Because it's like if you can't afford to go to Cabo, you go to Panama City. If you're too drunk for the Jersey Shore, then it happens in Panama City.
I feel like I have a connection with Florida just because I do ridiculousness. Yeah. And there is so much footage that comes from Florida.
Oh, the fans in Florida too.
Oh,
I guarantee you, you have the hypest night of your life.
Yeah, they know the show for sure.
I bet it's like, I know somebody who's on Ridiculousness. Really? I know somebody who's on Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of like parties where it's like, how many people here have been on Ridiculousness?
Howie Mandel just came on the show and he was talking about how he's had like 3 videos on the show. He didn't tell us.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
he filmed
his daughter throwing up in a bathroom with her head in one of those automated toilets that kept pounding her head, and she was throwing up on her wedding night. And he filmed the video, and we couldn't tell we were watching a fucking video. We can't tell it's him. We can't tell it's his voice. And then he came on the show and was like, I actually have 3 different videos on this show. And that's one of them.
I'm still stuck on his daughter throwing up and him being like, this is a moment.
Well, he said,
I'm going to get on Ridiculous.
Right? On her wedding night? Like, that's obviously, she's got a problem.
He tells the
right? He tells the life's not going well if on your wedding night, I got to be in pictures later. Better slam some Jaeger.
No, I have to defend that because I feel like when you're hosting, whether it's like a wedding or a birthday or whatever, everyone wants to drink with you.
Okay.
So, because I've been victim of being way too drunk at my birthday. So I'm like, I feel like a wedding would be the same.
Yeah. In her defense, the wedding was over. It wasn't like still at the wedding.
The marriage was still alive.
That was his whole joke. He was like, I had just given her away to her husband, and he called me after the wedding and said, hey, I need you to get back in here. And he said he had to go back in. He was like, you didn't tell me she got like this. He said apparently he had never seen
her drunk.
Yes, no drunk like that.
But it's more the problem
and
is
her dad had, and her dad best friends.
That she's a drunk. It's that she's a people pleaser. If someone at your event says yes, here's your drink. Yes, that's my problem too. I'll take it.
That's my problem. That's the easy.
You're basically Howie Mandel's daughter.
It's everybody else's fault. It's not mine.
Right, that you will take that shot of tequila.
If you are a bride or a birthday person, you are having a wedding, a private event, you should go up to the bartender before and be like, hey, when I take shots, pour me water unless I do this.
But if real people pleaser will hear that and be like, the bartender's going to think I'm lame and they're going to hate me.
Yeah.
Because they do booze. They do alcohol.
The bartender, that's the bartender's life is like pussy.
Pussy, yeah. And
come on, dude.
Wedding night or not?
Pussy. I obviously love booze just because this happens to be my job circumstance at the moment.
Just pouring liquor in his mouth.
So unprofessional. What's up with that broad over there? Dude, you're at my wedding. You're working.
So Howie Mandel, it's not over. His cup's not full. He's still like, anyway, in the back door, I'm going to get some footage of my daughter.
That's what I was fucking saying. High stuff. I was saying that it's because of the city we live in that maybe we
Yeah.
don't ever feel fulfilled or feel like, oh, there's a stop, because everywhere you look, everything around you, I don't say it's competition. I think it's healthy competition at times, but you're constantly looking at different moves you can make, different things you can do, versus if, you were still in Florida or you were still in northern-ish Central Coast, Central Coast of California, Montana, Chicago, do you feel like at this age you would feel more fulfilled? Do you feel like you would be like, whoa? I think if you move back home right now, you'd be like, HBO specials, I'm fucking good. You all bow down.
I don't know. I think in their heads, I've been surprised by the people that have reached out of like, oh my God, I can't believe you messaged me back. You're famous. Like, I'm not famous. It's just, you get this one opportunity. If anything, it's like, oh, I hope I don't fuck it up. I think if you look at people like Howie Mandel, or a better example, someone like Brad Pitt, I feel like if you could not frame it in your head as a sad situation, that Brad Pitt is still hustling. He's still trying to get jobs. He still started his own production company, still writing. That means you're never done. Even if you can fuck whoever you want.
You think he's hustling?
Or is that
He
just
is
a passion?
hustling.
You don't think it's just his passion now?
Passion comes from a point of missing something. What makes you passionate in things is that you feel like you are either not enough or you don't have enough. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all.
I don't know if I agree with that. Passion comes from missing something?
I mean, do you think he's making movies because it's an art thing, or it's like he wants to keep this identity alive?
I think
he feels like himself when he's at a premiere.
Filthy fucking rich. I think that he doesn't always, like you said, he has a production company. He's produced films in which he definitely doesn't star in. He's produced films which he's not in at all, and they've been really good films. I think it could just be a passion at this point. Like, I think that at some point you have to be real with yourself and give yourself some kind of out, some kind of goal.
I'm saying, like, what keeps you going? What puts you in bad movies? What puts you on Dancing with the Stars? What puts you in these things is that it's never done. You don't feel like you're ever done. You don't feel like, and it's not a way to frame it as this negative thing.
Or money.
Always hustling. It's just like, if you ever feel like that in your present situation, you just moved here and you live at Park La Brea with a crazy roommate and you got scammed and you got one commercial and you still feel like that's not enough. Well, know that Brad Pitt feels that same way and he wants to keep going, because it doesn't feel like enough.
But Brad Pitt also has the power to empower other people, which I think is another very fulfilling thing, right? So Brad Pitt gets a production company, and now even if he doesn't want to work that much, even if he's like, look, I'm Brad Pitt, I can go out right now, he can go, but this guy, I've always thought is great, and he really wants to make a movie. And not everybody is just wanting to make a movie because they're afraid that they'll never be famous. Plenty of people are making movies because the joy of being on set and finishing a product and so to be like, I want to let this person do that thing because they're going to make something great. And I'll even, if you care about my point of view, I'll pop in and say what my point of view is too. But I'm not really in a position where I need to control everything. I'm just going to say produced by Brad Pitt. So you're going to be able to make the movie.
Yeah, I think you have to set it out for yourself. I think some people do, some people don't. I think there are some people who constantly chase something that they'll never be able to fulfill, and they'll be to the end, and that's their legacy. And they may feel comfortable with that, being like, you know what, he never stopped working his ass off. I think others probably, set something up for themselves where like, you know what, fam, once I hit this 300 million mark, not saying that's a real number, just saying once I hit whatever the fuck it may be, once I do I do want to be able to still live a different life, do this other thing. And then there are some that are just like, yo, I don't even care about the money, or it's not something that I'm necessarily chasing, but I like the art itself. And that's what I mean by that. It's like your life shouldn't be about the destination or the excessive need to arrive. It should be about the work every day. And even if it means you feel like you're done enough, like you're not enough, if someone like Brad Pitt is continuing to work, he's someone that obviously doesn't need anything. He, could fuck anyone he wants and he could have any movie he wants, but he keeps going because he likes the work. So in your own life, if you could find a way, if you have just moved here and you're working at some terrible restaurant where everyone's mean to you, and then maybe once a week you get to do improv or you get to go to your acting class, if you could find a way to like your day-to-day, then maybe there's some fulfillment in that. And that's the only piece I've ever found. Because anything I've done, even putting a special out a day ago, I'm still like, what's next? Yeah.
But the thing that keeps me going, and why it was very important for me to go to Salt Lake City the very next night and get back to work, is that I just like the work of it. So that was something I wish I would have known a lot earlier, because it would have made me chill out more, and it made me a lot happier and maybe even nicer to people. It's just that, it's know that you're never going to feel like you're done, and that it's enough, and that you are just someone that likes the work and you like the drama of it not being done.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to admit to yourself.
It's fucking dope, though.
Yeah.
Pastor and wife arrested after frightening discovery of people locked in Griffin home. Police have arrested a man and his wife after the discovery of multiple neglected people locked in an unlicensed grouped home. Officials tell Fox 5 an investigation began after Griffin Fire responded to a report of a patient having a seizure at a so-called church on the 100th block of Valley Road. When they got to the location, fire crews and emergency medical services found the entrance to the basement was deadbolted, and they had to climb through a window to reach the patient. In the basement, authorities found as many as 8 people who were mentally or physically disabled and had been locked in at times by their caretakers, officials said. According to investigators, Curtis and Sophia had been leasing the home for around 14 months and had been operating the unlicensed facility under the appearance of a church called the One Step of Faith Second Chance. After searching the location, officials say they found that Bankston, who claimed to be a pastor, and his wife were in the control of the individual's finances, benefits, and medications. Investigators claim the couple would deny the individuals their medication and Medicare in some cases.
What is
Next week on Tiebreaker,
Yeah.
we liberate the mentally handicapped people. Holy shit! If I've ever saw an episode of Tiebreaker, they deserve a home.
like
Holy
what
shit!
what are you even aiming to do with the people themselves? Are you just trying to take their finances?
It's just
Or
power.
are you just trying to take their
That's what
money?
I would think.
I know. I'm just trying to get somewhere. It hurts me to just go right into like, I want power over
Yeah.
these people who are already disabled, who can't control different things. Of course, there's a reality, but I'm trying to think to myself, like, what the fuck else possibly could you even want from this? Again, it probably is power, or the power over their finances. If they're getting like, different benefits, different money, different funds, obviously based on.
While we were never
human
locked
disability.
away in a basement, we
Yeah.
were isolated from the entire world. I've never
Yeah.
been to school in my life. I learned how to read and write at 18 / still learning now.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk to people growing up. Anyone that you talk to, that's Satan trying to get in and infiltrate you. And the draw, if you're at the top, is legitimately that power. It's someone that feels powerless, and the way that they can feel like they've recreated their childhood, made it better, and they don't feel as powerless is if they show power over other people.
How many people are in like the organization?
There was 3 families, and then one of the families, the kids passed away. But because of the religion. Or the
Really?
cult. Yeah.
So there's 3 families, and it's started by somebody within those families?
One guy, my
How
great
did
they-
uncle, essentially.
Who's your great
Oh,
uncle?
wow.
Great uncle James, and it started very innocently enough. A bunch
Yeah.
of people in Michigan wanted to feel special,
Yeah.
and not like they live in Michigan.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to win the lottery from email scam, then maybe a religion could be a way that you could find an identity in this world.
If you don't mind me asking, like what exact powers is someone that, ultimately looking at a cult, what exact powers is the person trying to get? When I look at cults throughout history, you're like, okay, this person wanted this from them, or they wanted this from, like, what do you feel as though your great uncle was like, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, even if I'm misunderstood, even if I'm abusing my power, even if I'm doing all this shit, this is ultimately the mission.
Money, influence, no one is more powerful than someone that can promise you immortality. And what religion does, and why these people possibly were in a basement, is sometimes religion can offer you immortality. We're all, whether we want to admit it or not, deeply afraid of dying and just not existing or being important anymore. And a lot of religion gives you that. It's like it's not over. You get eternal life with God. So he preyed on that for people that were afraid of that, and people that wanted identity in this world, and is someone that's very intelligent. And was able to prey on people that struggled with mental illness. My mom is one of them. Andrea, the other woman who murdered her kids eventually because of this whole religion, was one of them. And then so was James's wife, who he agreed to, or had her agree to this religion, and her now 13 kids agree to it.
Could that be one of the reasons you probably are like, Self-help, I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, once you're like, those kids you play with, they were all murdered. I'm like, there's no manifesting that could have fixed that shit. Yeah. You evolve when you feel pain on that level. There's very little positive thinking in your mind.
Did he? Where did it start? Did he start going out to create this, or did he have a philosophy he truly believed in, or where do you think the motivation?
So this sounds
like
it's almost like a comedic situation in that he was a pro athlete. He was a running back from Michigan State. Like the fucking bee's knees, I can't remember what yards he had rushing, but he was incredible.
Nice.
He was incredible. And then he got hit his senior year, and his entire football career is over. No more NFL. It's over. He's being carted off the field after he got hit incredibly hard. God comes down from the heavens. The moment he's being carted off the field, tells him about this new religion and tells him that it's his mission to spread the word. I think knowing what we know now, we call it CTE.
Yeah.
That's a concussion.
Oh, shit.
And like, oh, yeah, no shit. The best thing you saw is if God came down and told you to be a better person.
But he truly believed that happened and became
that.
obsessive about it. Do you think he truly believed that happened, or do you think that became part of, because it's your identity of what you are most famous for, he wanted to tie it into, hey, remember when I was something?
The main thing is that. Yes, you hit the nail on the head.
Because now every time he gets to tell anybody his philosophy, he gets to tell him.
Yeah, you know God.
That my background is I'm legit.
This is
that's
horrible,
exactly it.
This is a horrible thing to say, but I've said this many times. I'll say it again. I plan on telling my kids at the age of 85 or so that I died and I met God and I came back, and these are his words. I'll write a book.
Yeah.
The book will be a bestseller. Then I'll have another book that comes out after I die that says I did not meet God. You're all fucking idiots.
A tell all.
Yeah, tell all.
Yeah. This guy understands the media.
I get it.
This is all props to your father who
Thanks,
knew is
man.
like, we gotta get a talk show or right away. We gotta get these videos in. Yeah, you got a long con. This is great.
This is great.
Yeah, eventually it's a long con. It's a way to get that identity of the star running back again. I can't imagine. I know what 4,000 people feels like cheering for me, but a stadium of people.
Michigan State. That's a real place.
Holy shit.
It's a real place.
And it's Michigan, so nothing is happening but college football.
Yeah.
So you are the star of that town. You're getting free donuts if you go to a place.
Yeah.
You get pulled over. Get out of here.
You're the man.
That's all over because some idiot tackled you weird and your ACL is shot and you got concussed. Yeah. So of course you'd be flailing in the wind trying to think of another way to get yourself to feel special. And he's obviously a smart person. If you got yourself to be a running back, people like to play up that athletes are idiots, but to have the mental focus to be like, this is eventually going to pay off. Yeah. No, it's smart that I'm out in the yard and I'm throwing passes. That is a smart person. Yeah. Whether you want to admit it or not, athletes are smart to at least get their bodies that way. Yeah. Sure, they're not going to be able to tell you what year Lincoln did, blah, blah, blah. But they are intelligent.
They definitely are.
Enough to control their bodies.
Especially when it comes to a game as well, which I feel like this whole thing probably kind of turned into strategy game.
Yeah.
Of course.
Playing people. Yeah. If someone's got a mental illness, how do I play that up? How do I, I got more kids. I got more followers. It's exciting. I'm someone. So that's how it spun out of control. That's how he eventually convinced us to stop renting a home and buy a bus and travel around the U.S. and spread the word. And not just like pass out pamphlets, go to concerts and yell at people outside.
Oh, shit.
That'll do it.
What was the best concert you went to?
That'll get them
Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Lollapalooza, big neon signs to say you're headed for, Heel. My mom is also dyslexic, so she misspelled one of the signs.
You're headed to Heel?
You're headed to Heel, yeah.
You're all going to Heel.
Oh, Payless just
where's
opened.
that?
There's a new shoe store. But like screaming at people to get attention. Getting in their face.
Wait, so he's anti-school? He's not
anti-school
kids?
No religion, no pastor, no rabbi, no one between you and God besides him.
Who was God?
God is someone that only he's met. It from the Old and New Testament. God.
Oh shit!
So
it is from the Bible somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old and New Testament, King James version. Cool. But no Christianity. That's basically capitalism disguised. School. That's where they indoctrinate you. So no school. Kids should not go to school. Hospitals, they'll drug you up. So when I broke my shin at 12, no hospital, just ace bandage. So yeah, no modern medicine, no organizations, everything. And why would you invest in those things? Because God's gonna end the world in 46 minutes from right now.
Oh shit!
So that's how I constantly lived. Be like, that's why self-help doesn't work. It's like, live every day like it's your last. I've been living like that my entire life. My entire life. It's like, God's coming back and he is pissed.
Yeah.
Do you ever had that thing where like your dad's going to spank you when you get home?
Yeah.
That feeling? That's how we constantly lived.
Yeah. I feel that pain.
That hurts worse than the actual spanking itself.
It does, because you're peeing a little.
You can't
just
enjoy
until
anything.
he gets home constantly.
Yeah.
Because
Eat
you're
your grilled
afraid of what
cheese.
beating you're gonna get. Because oh man, my mom would threaten me with that.
Yeah.
She would threaten me with that, like, oh, I got you decent. Your dad gonna get you good.
Oh, knowing
when
your
he get
dad's
home.
gonna be mad. When
The one
he
time we
gets
got
home.
free tickets to Epcot Center as kids. We got free tickets because some family took. Oh,
like
my mom
Epcot.
made us call into radio stations and lie and say that our house burned down, so we could get help for all the holidays, which is a crime. I don't know.
Hey, I like that actually.
But I
Improv.
would just be like, my house burned down. So we got free tickets to Epcot Center, and I can't remember what I did, but I got in trouble, and it was like, when we get home from this trip, you're gonna get a spanking. And the entire Epcot
The trip's
was
ruined. The trip's ruined.
Damn.
Ruined. Every ride. It was just, what's it gonna feel like?
But tight. Did you get spankings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets real.
Yeah.
Get my ass whooped. Get ass whoopings.
We
Right.
weren't afraid of my mom's spankings though. My mom's spankings
Were they weak?
My mom's spankings were bad spankings. My dad's spankings were scary.
Yeah.
And when he got home, and if we were really gonna get an actual dad spanking, that's.
Do you feel like
You
your
have a
mom was
couple
not
beers first.
committed in it? Was she just like legitimately bad follow through?
Your form's just off.
Your forearm is terrible, Linda.
I think her heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Even if she was mad, she's just like, if you like poke my mom, she's like, I'm gonna get it black and blue. Like she is
bruises
a
like a
very
peach.
fragile person.
Yeah.
So our mom spanking us I remember consciously, maybe when we were like, the house we were at, it'd be like 3 and 6. Like it's an early memory of me and my sister just hysterically laughing at my mom trying to give us this.
Oh, so
Yeah,
did you
you're assholes.
did you ever get to the point where you made decisions? You're like, yeah, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And maybe get like
Yeah,
a sassy
Mom.
slap.
But no, then it's like, or your
dad.
dad's gonna be mad when he gets home, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, this shit's real.
See, we're always afraid of my dad, but my mom, like, we got to a point where she would whoop us, and we would legit grab the extension cord or grab the belt, and every second though that we held on to it, she would give you more hits. So she would be
Yeah.
like, for every second you grab the belt, it's 2 more hits. She would tell you what your deal
Whoa.
was while she's whooping you. So then you
With
just,
a belt.
Which is the
a belt
biggest
or extension
mindfuck
cord
ever. Yeah.
extension cord or a belt.
Ooh, extension cord.
If we
Never heard
yelled,
It
you could,
moves
that would be
different.
more too. If you was like, don't yell, don't
knows?
cry, because that's
He like
more.
squirmed too much.
We
on
also
the bed.
spanking kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
spankings for sure. We did increments of 5. So like if we were out or something, and if you would do something wrong, that was a set of 5.
Okay.
And it would tally up like that, because my mom was also a super tiny woman, and so after a while, like her spankings just didn't hurt as much. But then there was a carpenter at our church.
That volunteered to do
Oh no!
spankings.
Yeah.
His name is Ty Pennington. Ty Pennington comes over.
He
All right, so
started
your mom said
making-
you give me trouble.
He started making and selling paddles.
You need to beat your kids
no!
up.
Oh gosh, she went pro. She got like the iPhone of paddles.
And then we started getting spanked with paddle, and then after a while, I don't even know whose idea this was, but they got creative. They would put holes in the paddle.
That's
So
everybody's.
it's- so
Like,
the-
that's
so
not
the wind-
anybody's idea. That's
everything-
slaves.
No wind resistance.
That
Yeah.
was slaves.
Yeah, and it
We
would
did that.
Science.
sting, and it's just
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I would literally, I remember I would be like crying my eyes out, begging my mom to switch cheeks, because I would be like, yo, this side
Yeah.
hurts way too much.
wild.
You got to do the other side. But yeah, I definitely got spankings.
Oh my god, people do not talk about this in LA, by the way. People grew up in like, yeah, I was grounded, like my Amex got cut off when I was 4.
For sure.
This, you're probably
My
the first
wife-
group of people in LA
my-
I've talked to about this.
my dad would use a belt only as a prop. because we knew that his
big jokester.
we knew.
And then it's a chicken.
What if? Just what if?
This is my parents progressing this is we knew that his dad used to beat him with a belt.
Yeah.
And that was his way of saying, I'm going to beat you with a belt, but I'm progressive enough to not use a belt anymore. So I'm just going to spank you.
Going to try to shit
Or
on
whatever.
our parents.
That's not what I was trying to say.
So the snap of the belt, he would do that
The
thing.
snap
where
of
you
the,
snap
he
the
would
belt.
snap
Yeah.
it,
Put it back to the
like
loop.
his
That's
dad,
weak.
and then he would not actually. I think actually maybe he tried it once with the belt, and then my mom was probably in the other room like, I don't like the belt
The
thing.
belt's not fun.
I got
You
my
ruined
ass
that.
Should we not
whooped.
do the belt thing?
That's J. Crew and it's not fun.
I got my ass whooped one
Folding
time
it.
with my pants down in school in
Yeah.
front of everybody.
Oh no.
Fuck out of here, fam. Sounds like a belt with prop belt. Put it
That's
away.
way worse than Epcot
a
Center.
belt.
In front of your friends.
Yeah.
They
in front of
whooping
your
your
friends
ass
the
in front of my mama told me like she would threaten me first like yo if you do
That's
something
the
bad
worst.
again I'm gonna beat your butt in front of all your friends and it was horrible because she was a substitute teacher for a little while and then she became like full time so she would be within the school so I would be wilding and they would go down the hall and go get her
So now you're getting bullied after
by
the
my mom
fact.
by my mom
But now you get spanked. It's like we saw you cry, all that shit come out of your nose.
no I was cool enough to like play that shit off because
Okay.
I only got the
I
whoopings-
like it. I was rock hard
I
the whole
only
time.
got the whoopings in the front of the class between grades of kindergarten to third.
Okay.
So I transferred after third. So I was able to let that shit sit in the past as
Was
I
the
went to a different
philosophy
school.
that she was like, did she go like spanking isn't working? I got to go bigger. I got to embarrass him in front of his friends. It's what Sterling cares about.
No.
Or was it just like coincidence?
It's just like
she
any-
found out she came to your school.
It's any kid in the world what they care about. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of
No.
your fucking friends. And,
But that's what it was. It was like,
well, it's just like yo.
'cause did she do that with every kid or did
Right.
she
Was
do
she
it with you?
exhausted of
Every
like, I'm
kid.
going to do this
Like, did she
here?
do that?
Yeah.
Did she go to Frank's school?
No,
also?
I mean, if they did something
Right.
wrong, they got in trouble in front of people all the time. Yeah, you
Okay.
get in trouble in front. The whole thing was sending a message in front of your friends of like, we don't fucking play that. So then your friends knew as well, like respect their parents. Their parents are a little more stern and strict because they wanted our friends and the other teachers to know. I don't give a fuck what's going on in the school. I don't care about it being in the hood. I don't care about kids being bad and you don't care and kids doing all kind of bullshit. My kid's different. And they acting out of
That's
line.
mafia shit.
Yeah.
I sent a message.
And if
I
they
showed up to the Italian
fam.
restaurant and I beat your
Fam.
ass at the
Fam.
restaurant during rush hour.
Fam, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And then guess what? You never fuck up again. Because you
No.
don't want it to ever happen again. Who wants to get their ass whooped in front of the whole class? Nobody.
Right? Explain
You
to
get it
me
one
that's
time.
the
for
worst.
real.
You get it one time. Yeah, and my whole thing was like, between kindergarten and third, I was able to like sell it. Like, y'all all get whoopings too. Mine just so happened to be in front of the class.
My
we all
mom,
My
get
mom is
whoopings.
very busy. Yeah.
my mom probably actually now that I think
drive-through
about
ass
it,
whooping.
Yeah.
if my mom had those psychological mind games, she could have made her power stronger. Because having a weak woman beat you in front of a class is probably even more embarrassing.
Shit, right?
Called her a weak.
If she's
You're
not
sick.
like these kids are
sick.
laughing at me, I'm gonna go in front of their school.
I heard her wrist pop. Oh my god.
The arthritis is kicking in.
I think the worst we ever did is we had to make the paddles ourselves.
That's wild. Or grab a switch. You ever get a switch yourself?
Well, with like out of like that's how I learned how to
Arts
use a
and
circular
crafts?
saw is like cutting a board, which was like, oh, these aren't like regulation.
Yeah.
It's just like me cutting wood in the back. I was like, if I shave a little off the sides,
You
it'll
should.
be smaller. But I think that, and then we had to like write Bible verses on it as well.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So I think making it is just such a haunting feeling of like, this is the thing that's gonna hurt me later. It's probably what having a kid is.
Yeah, I don't think making it is so traumatic.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, can you choose the gun I'm gonna murder you with?
Yeah,
Picking out your own
exactly.
switch, literally. Just
Right.
picking out your
Yeah.
own switch.
Picking out your own switch, yeah, it breaks kids. I remember picking out my own switch.
For the first time?
That shit is trash. And we didn't even have a lot of switches in my neighborhood. So my parents only got me with a switch and when we switched neighborhoods. Like not like when we moved, but like if I was gonna whoop in my grandma's house, they had switches. Or if I was getting a whooping in Mississippi somewhere, switches outside.
I'm high,
Yeah.
so I keep imagining Nintendo
Right.
Switches.
I'm just imagining everyone that's high that listens to the show is like, Chris Red was funny on the show, and then you listen to this episode and you're high as shit. You're like, oh my god,
This is traumatic.
No, I just keep. I don't even know what a Switch is.
It's a stick.
It's a
It's a
stick.
stick,
It's
yeah.
a
so what do you
sprint.
mean?
It's like
You
a-
get
it's
to
a-
choose
it's a-
your own.
Okay,
So
so the
you
first
go
time I
outside
ever got
and
spanked
grab
with a
a-
switch,
Yeah.
my mom didn't do it aunt did it or my uncle.
Ooh,
did it.
that's
Someone did it.
weird.
And I didn't know the switch thing. I didn't know about it. So me and all my cousins all got in trouble. And my uncle was like, go get a switch. So they're all boys and they are bringing back these big sticks. And I'm like, what? You guys are stupid. Why would you bring back like these big sticks?
Oh, you learned your lesson.
Oh my God.
You don't want a small
I
switch.
pick out the skinny.
You don't want a small
You
switch.
don't?
You don't
The
want
wind
a
resistance.
It's like a whip.
It's faster.
It's like a whip. It's faster.
Yeah. That's why you drill holes in the
stings
paddle. The wind resistance.
So bad.
It's so
like,
bad.
the switch was horrible. The switch is bad.
They gave him baseball bats. He over there swinging
yes,
hard.
I'm like, what are you guys
He could barely
doing?
swing
So
over.
what
What a
level,
lesson.
as kids of spankings,
Yeah.
what level do you think like
Kids of
worked?
spankings.
Like what level do you think? Like obviously, I think these Bible verses probably made you associate negative things with Bible verses, so probably isn't what the intention was. Like when does it get like?
I don't know. That's a
think that
very
was
good
good for the
question
kids.
of
I
what
don't
the
like the
positive
question.
is.
Because I took some positives away, but I'll let you go.
I think there are some positives. I do treat everyone with respect.
Thank you.
Overall, because I'm still like as a child, like afraid. There's no stories of me that are going to come out of like he was mean to women. It's just the opposite, where girls have come up to me after the fact of like, how come you never made a move? And I'm like, just never. I'm sorry. And I think it's a work ethic thing. You're not going to be lazy, but I don't know how healthy that is overall.
Wait, how did you relate the spankings to that?
Yeah,
because if you disrespect someone, it's usually how you would get in trouble. If you are like with her cousins, they probably did something where the parents said, "Hey, don't go over there. We don't want you over by the swings; those are dangerous." And they go over by there.
It's a discipline
You've
thing.
disrespected someone, and I feel like the guys that have gotten in trouble for disrespecting women don't have those boundaries. They don't see it that way.
Guess what? I don't know
see.
a lot, but I'll say those school shooters in America could use more switches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this much, that I think there's certain things you understand you just can't do. It protects you, I'll say, as a black person, at least in America, to understand that it's certain shit you can't get off, fam. I don't care if not that you believe blah blah blah, but let me protect you from certain things. And when I tell you something, it may not always be clear to you on why I'm telling it to you, but it's you following orders and understanding that you do have rules. Other people, white dudes in America, don't necessarily have to walk around thinking they have rules.
It's like having
they can figure out
consequences for
things
your
as
actions.
they
Yeah.
go along.
It's
the people that are
called
assholes to
freedom.
people, they get their ass whooped publicly outside of a bar as
for
an adult,
sure.
and you're 34, so you're old as shit, so you're gonna pop your hip out when you get sucker punched. But someone, if you grew up having to pick your own switch, you know the consequence in your bones of what pain is. Oh, I disrespect someone, I'm a piece of shit, I'm gonna feel pain.
Yeah.
And that's maybe an important scale to have in your head, but if you don't learn that, then fuck around, find out.
I think it's definitely levels too. Like, I definitely don't think you should be like beating your kids or whatever. I think that's completely different. I think spankings is
and even whoopings. I mean, because people like put the word whooping and they make it such a bad thing. Like spankings and whoopings are the same thing. They're just cultural.
Yeah.
They're the same shits.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They may be done a little differently. They may have different styles.
Wait,
The
what's
same
the
way you
difference?
would
It's
in
just different words, like-
jujitsu and karate. They got different styles, right?
The Midwest, they call it pop, and we call it soda.
Soda,
in the
yeah,
South.
yeah.
I don't think I would spank my kids though.
I think I would. I think I'd definitely spank my kids.
Okay.
I don't think I'll like beat my kids. or
I'm gonna
nothing.
make my kids do all that stuff. Sounds like
You're gonna make
fun.
them spank each other.
No, I'm gonna make them do the Bible verse thing. I'm gonna make them
It's not
Take
even
their
the
own
same
switch.
stuff.
get the switches. I'm switching the other
don't
way.
go such like.
No,
Don't
I'm
try to
joking,
act like
I'm
it's an
joking.
extreme. Because I think that like even when like I could be around my friends who are not of the same culture of me and they are white, they do things that I would never fucking dream of doing, and they're disrespectful to my things around my house and shit. They don't give a fuck because they're
Could
white.
you imagine just
and they
going
have
in
freedom.
someone's fridge?
This motherfucker will come to my house all day and eat shit and leave it everywhere. Does not give a shit. And I'd be like, you know what? That could not happen in my house. You would get your ass in trouble.
Never in
And
my
there's
life have I
certain
gone in
stuff.
someone's fridge without asking. Even if someone's like, you just had sex with someone, you were inside of their ass. No way
That's
would I
ass
go in your
whoopings
fridge.
did that for you. It taught you
Yup.
don't go in my fridge.
Someone came to my house and they just got grapes out and they put it in a bowl. And I was dumbfounded. I couldn't even have the words. Who the fuck does that?
For me, it depends on what the I wouldn't do that at the person whose house I was at the first time. But I'm sorry. I
don't give a shit. It's more about whoopings. You didn't get
because
whoopings.
I feel like I'm at home here, Sterling.
No,
Yeah.
you
Which
are
is
at
a
home
good
somewhat.
thing in some
I'm more
ways.
saying
But I wouldn't do that
I-
to a rant. I wouldn't do it about the first time.
If I came to your crib, I ate some shit, I'll wash it out and be like, there's just certain discipline that goes in it. It's a cultural thing. Again, we had to be taught certain things, and not saying this is the exact correlation right now in this moment with these stories, but we had to be taught things to survive as well within this country of like, you can't do certain things.
Can't be mean to servers.
Yeah, like you have to sir and shit. Man, I got white friends who call everybody their first name. It is beyond me. And we've had these talks like where I'm like, yo, I just couldn't do that growing up. And there was a protection thing as well of like, yo, if you're going to be walking around, you don't know who you're talking to. Just say sir and ma'am, just to be sure, just to protect yourself, just to set yourself apart and not come across this way or that way. Not saying you should be judged that way, just saying that it's just different things. I do understand whoopings. I also understand in different cultures they don't, and they look at them and they be like, yo, you have rights. Do you know you can call a number and get your parents taken away?
Oh,
and I'm like,
baby.
and I get all of that shit.
CPS, baby.
But I'm also like, yo, I expect something from my child, and I have to teach my child as a black child to be fucking better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even how Joe Biden's clip came out today with him saying, "This mother son of a bitch." What we say? Barack could never.
Yeah.
Could never.
No
I have
way.
to teach my son to be better. And it sucks.
Yeah.
But I do. I gotta tell him like, yo, fam, you gotta be nice to everybody. You gotta have
Overly
manners.
nice, overly
Overly nice,
polite.
overly better, overly articulate, overly all of these things to make sure
Don't
that
tell them about CPS.
man, nah.
We had
that's
the
Chicago
call,
public schools.
We had the call before that of like, if Child Protective Service comes, and they will, here's what you're gonna say. Don't fucking snitch on me. So we had the pre-call before that.
yeah.
His neighbors would call the cops.
Bro, yeah, that's real shit because you have to teach your kid like
Yeah.
that's not what's going on here. You're in trouble. Because look, I will say this much. It may be confusing at times. I think that my dad instilled a lot of shit in me that I look at as like I needed that. And you know, that actually helped me get to where I am today. But I think that I'll say most of, and I know that of course there are different cases and different people going through different things. There are abusers. There are people abusing what this is even supposed to mean or what you're supposed to get out of it. But I do think that most parents, when they're trying, they are trying with love. They don't always understand what they're doing and how they're actually doing it and what that could be to the kid, if it's traumatic or if this is this, and parenting different kids different ways because different kids have different personalities and all that fucking shit that it takes to actually help an individual and you know, become whoever they're going to be. But I do think that like when my parents like whooped me or gave me like whatever, I looked at it and I was like, damn, like it prepared me for different things. Of course, I don't think I with my kids nearly to the same level. I think I need to with my kids a couple times, good, and then just use that threat for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, you know that shit I did back 8 years ago, nigga, that ain't changed.
I think that's what the technique
Epcot
of
Center?
play-
Yeah.
That's all I think you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
But I do think that like, you know, there has to be a certain level of respect. When I like watch certain kids talk back to their parents.
Oh my
certain
God,
way,
right
I'm
in the
like, there's no
store?
fear,
I know.
there's no respect here. There is a
wild.
certain level of freedom that you understand about already, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
But it's also like it's gonna be the kid, in my opinion. Like you're gonna know whether you need to give this kid a spanking or not.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're doing it and you know you're doing it for the kid and not for whatever the fuck you're feeling
Yeah.
Yeah.
that day, then like it's probably the right decision. Because who knows? What if his one kid has a different personality than the other
You
kid, and that
definitely
kid
have
gets
to
Hitler's
more
mom was
spankings.
like, I don't do these.
Right, or
You
it's
know?
clearly a mental illness that they have. Yeah.
You definitely have to parent each kid differently.
It's
for
gonna
sure.
wind up being the kid. So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
can't.
But that is a privilege too of people that have money to parent your kids different. I think if
Yeah.
you are
Again,
truly
fair.
poor and you have 5 kids, it's a catch-all. Everyone's going to see
Yeah.
the R-rated movie. Everyone's going to have this experience. This is how I ended up at a cheer camp that
Are you
was
the
discounted for
youngest?
low-income people because it was like, well, everyone has to go.
Are you the youngest?
Second to youngest.
Second
so
to
nothing.
youngest.
I don't even get like I'm the middle child. It's just
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You're just one of the kids. I'm an extra in my sibling's life. That is a privilege if you can take individual time with your kids
100%.
and figure out what their issue is.
Well, because the kids end up helping parent
Yeah.
too, because the kids are just going off what they learn from their parents. Again, I come from 4 siblings. Well, it's 4 of us all together, so the household feels like you're learning from each sibling. Of course, you try to instill whatever you can, and I did have the luxury. It was a fucking luxury to grow up where I grew up, on the block I grew up, in the environment I grew up, and to have my dad and my mom. I fucking knew it was a luxury early, that I was like, shit, nigga, it ain't 2 parents on this block, like, period. Like, for us to have both parents and my dad to honestly try to be the father of the whole community.
Because people always say that about money, but they don't understand how important it is to have 2 parents, and just that it's another adult in the room to be like, hey, that's crazy.
It's a fucking luxury.
Hey, Kathleen, that's insane. Don't do that. That's the biggest benefit that is overlooked in public policy and government, and money, and there's 2 parents bringing in. It's just another adult in the room to say, hey, what you're doing right now, you're acting out of emotion.
Facts.
And just to give the other adult a break.
Yes.
Is such a big thing, because I
Yes.
feel like a lot of parents are just, they're doing the best they can. I just feel like, even as like an adult with no kids, you probably feel like life is fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then to add, in your 20s or 30s even, you're still figuring out life, and life is confusing and it's hard, and adulting every single day, it seems like there's always something else to do, and there's always some kind of problem to fix. To add that on top of 1, 2, 3, 5 kids by yourself, like, the older you get, the more I think you really realize how much your parents were doing at their age and at that time.
Yeah.
And you really
God,
start
yeah.
to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And you learn to love them, I
It's
think,
real.
probably a little more.
That-
There's
differently.
also no Postmates. There's
Yeah.
no Uber. There's
Yeah.
no
Postmates
like.
has fixed a lot of switches. If a Postmates guy can go pick up your switch.
God,
Yeah.
But I mean, that is, when I put the show together, I started at a place with a lot of anger towards my parents about one, my dad just piecing out, and my mom like, and then just having to put the show together and think about these as characters that have a full story and why they do what they do. I eventually, inadvertently, not the goal, but came around to genuine forgiveness for everything that happened in the
Self-help.
past. Yeah, my own self-help.
No.
Self-help.
Yeah.
That is self-help.
It is self-help.
By the end of the day, we got Moses Storm 4 self-help.
I got 4 self-help by the end of this. I just, something about
Write
being
yourself
in
a stand-up.
Something about being in Encino, these big houses with a gate. I'm for self-help now.
It's easier to consume, for sure.
Yeah.
You're going to wind up writing a self-help, be like, all you have to do
Oh,
is
but it's gonna be like
create an
cool. It's gonna be like
intricate-
anti-self-help, but it is just actually self-help.
I didn't believe in self-help
Yeah.
either. That's the best person to sell you
Self-help for people who don't want to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like this book idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Self-help wasn't for me either.
Yeah.
But it is an important point you
Self-help for
brought up
those who
in
don't
that.
believe in self-help.
Think about how many times you are at the end of your rope at your own day as an adult with no kids, right? Sometimes you're mean to someone on the phone or someone that messed up your order, whatever. Now imagine if you had kids and you're instilling that to someone with a mushy brain where every word you say is Bible to them.
Yeah.
Everything
They're
means so much.
sponges,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So of course, there's going to be shortcomings.
Yeah, and if you get 5 kids, you're just like at the point where you're just hoping that you get 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 that
Yeah.
can make it out. You're like, you know what? Fuck this. I tell my parents all the time jokingly, I'd be like, yo, even if it's just me, that's not bad, guys.
Yeah.
That's 1 out of 4. That's not the fucking worst you could have done. My sister's she's a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, I think that's what you get with age is you get forgiveness. And I think,
Yeah.
cancel culture is a privilege of being young. We can cancel people now because we haven't made those same mistakes. And just in 6 months you get to, and I'm not an anti-cancel culture person at all, but we are holding people to an impossible standard that we ourselves cannot live up to.
Yeah, especially with this
Impossible.
Gen Z being so obsessed with cancel culture. It
Yeah.
is because it's like you guys
You're
haven't
young.
lived.
You're
at
young and you
all.
have the internet, so you can do that,
Yeah.
but just make a mistake. Have a bad day where you don't have a sandwich, and we'll see how
Or
tolerant
tweet
you are.
something that in the moment you didn't think would hurt anyone's feelings. You just
Yeah.
thought was
Yeah.
funny, and you have dark humor or whatever, and you put it out there, and then 5 years later, you're like canceled and you're like,
Oh,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
Well, we talked about this last week, but we've talked about it before. Like Dr. King, like there would be no Dr. King today if we had Instagram.
No
Dr.
way.
King would be in big fucking trouble.
He was going around like Lori Lightfoot to
Yeah,
different
man.
hotels and fucking
The
people.
DMs would be going crazy. Like y'all know,
Yeah.
Dr. King be out here dreaming about more than just
Yeah.
that.
I saw
Pussy on his mind.
I saw Dr. King at a Motel 6.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
Yeah.
So it's just
I got
like,
a photo.
I got a photo. He was fucking. He was. He would for sure have DMs. 'Cause
It'd
he's smooth
it'd
as
be
shit.
wild. So for Gen Z to be so into cancel culture, you don't realize that like good people make mistakes. Like don't fucking fuck up the world because you want to hold everybody to some fucking
I don't blame
unbelievable.
them too. It's you.
I do.
But what I do blame is these giant companies that are taking it as absolute
True.
fact.
True.
Because they're like, oh, young people buy money. Old people are smart with the money and they stay home. But no one's gonna invest in PacSun if our person is going out there saying stupid shit. So it's the corporations that are buckling to the 4 tweets that they saw about the negative thing. But
Yeah.
I think being young is saying that I'm infallible because I haven't made these mistakes yet, or I haven't lived long enough to be in these situations where I've had to make a difficult decision.
Okay, then here's a decent, interesting question. Will we get to a day and time in the next 10, 15 years, 20 years where we just won't even, we won't have real people? Marriages and relationships and everything else within won't probably survive because people won't be allowed to be truly themselves. They'll be so focused on not making mistakes instead of living that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying people can't be real with who they are.
No, we're already getting out of cancel culture. The fact that Fox News knows about cancel culture and they're behind it everything, we're rounding the corner.
I think
over
we're
the
climbing
hill.
out too. I think we'll figure
Enough people have come back. People like Brian
something out
Callen,
about
who's a
this.
comedian that got accused of rape, right? Very credible allegation, just didn't acknowledge it at all, and has come back fully. And
They
it
prove
still
it
has the
wasn't
same
real?
career. They have not proven it's not real.
He just came back.
And they have not proven just for legality issues that this is a credible case. But by all means, there's no reason for her to lie. Why would she? Who would want that as an identity?
But I think there's also a consumer within cancel culture that buys into cancel culture, and they become fans of people because they're getting canceled.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, you know what, you can't silence people. That's not the fucking rights. That's not the First Amendment.
I'm
So
following Louis
yeah.
around the country.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna bail Kyle Rittenhouse out of jail.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
for sure.
Insufferable people. Who's doing it? And you look into it, it's like, oh, it's a washed up child actor. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a people that feel like they've been slighted in their own lives, so they try to support people so that when they eventually get canceled, it's like, well, I got you out, so that means for myself, I could get myself
I've
out.
also seen people
That's
like
why?
think of the one bad thing you can tell with some people, they're like, well, I did one bad thing one time.
Yeah.
And I'm still a good person. I hope nobody finds out about that one thing. Fuck everybody trying to cancel everybody. Nobody's going to find out about my
Right.
thing. You
If
know,
that
like
one girl came out, yeah.
what? And they go so hard into that direction because they kind of think about the one thing they have and
Right.
create an identity out there
It's
of
so
freedom.
gross to think about. Well, what's happening now is companies, and that's really what's controlling everything, understand now that, if these people just don't really acknowledge it or they just take a little break and they come back, they will make money again. Now it's going away. Enough people have been canceled that we are rounding the corner where it's been long enough where those people have come back. Louis is touring again.
Louis
putting out
was nominated for
specials.
the Grammy.
Well,
Exactly.
who can be canceled though, and who can you be canceled by? You know, big
Yes.
companies are really the only ones that can cancel you. People can't cancel. People try to cancel all they want. People can say what they want to say. People can say fuck you.
But
Fuck
this is why
person.
people like Instagram are starting their own subscription platform, because it's like, it's alluring to people like us, because it's like HBO can't tell me no. They can't pull my special if something comes out because I have my subscribers and
Yeah.
that pays my bills.
Yeah.
That's they're gonna keep subscribing to me on Instagram, so they understand this already. They understand that the power is not in these legacy media companies. It's no longer Viacom that's controlling your career. It's people going out on Patreon. It's people building
but
their own audience.
Even if we were to use Nick Cannon as a simple example, he was at Viacom, or he is back at Viacom with Wild 'N Out, but they did cancel him, and I say cancel because people again can try to cancel you, but through money, through everything else, people can also support you and you not be canceled. You still be here. Tory Lanez was supposed to be canceled during the whole Make the Stallion thing. He ended up selling probably more records than he's ever sold in his entire life. I don't know if the baby, but
the baby didn't do his concerts. But
also, his records,
yeah.
but he hasn't made any more records that like have taken off.
No,
there are lots of people who would never be talking about Jussie Smollett if it wasn't for the thing.
Yeah,
no,
I
think
he
got canceled.
I think he can wind up ultimately being like, "Why can't I come back?" And I would be like, "Were you really ever here?"
Dancing with the Stars with Justin Smollett and Kyle Rittenhouse together.
That is going to come out in the next 3 years.
But why are they next to each other? Jussie at least performed. Cal just kill people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Carol Baskin was on the show.
Yeah, but I think what Justin Smollett did was very dangerous, and
Very
that
dangerous.
by faking a story, what it really does, it's dangerous. Is people that are black in this country that actually do get attacked just for their race or just for being homosexual are no longer, you have that tinge of like, is this another Smollett?
Right.
I agree.
That's the crime.
I don't care enough about Jussie and his situation and where he's at and all this to really be like, let's blackball Jussie.
Right.
Jussie, I'm just like, yeah, he shouldn't work again. Nobody should hire him. But also, if y'all choose to hire him, cool. Because there's a whole bunch of other motherfuckers who've done way worse than Jussie who are still working here in Hollywood.
I think
right,
that,
because they're better writers than his story.
That is
with
also
a rope
true.
around your neck
That's
and
also
bleach
true.
the terrible
Black
writing.
MAGA followers. Hear me out.
What kind of racist?
It's a twist.
Watch Empire.
I think cancel culture is scary because it doesn't leave a lot of room for redemption and for people to be forgiven. And I think that people ultimately, as a society, like if you truly have made a mistake and you take time out of your life to reflect on that mistake and either get better informed or you just take a different life path and you truly become like have learned from mistake, I don't think there's any reason that you shouldn't be able to come back into society and either work like you did before or just be accepted back.
I agree.
Also,
That's a
because
great
those
point.
stories become kind of proxies for people, again, who make mistakes in their lives. They get to look and go, well, that guy just admitted he was wrong or admitted
But
that
that's
he
what I mean
grew
by the
from it.
Brian Callen thing. He never admitted it. He never
Yeah,
acknowledged
no,
that.
fuck
Even
that
if
shit.
I don't think that this was a crime, at least this woman I had this experience with had an awful time and she felt unsafe. She felt like something was taken from her. And he can't acknowledge that. Then there's no incentive for anyone to acknowledge it because like, oh, he continued his career, but like nothing happened because all he did was didn't acknowledge it.
That's 100% true. That's the same with Louis C.K. People argue that Louis never really come out and say he was sorry for anything. He's just kind of took time off, a little time in what he deemed as enough time, and then came back. And, I get why his, it's all up in the air because you got this, I joke and say, oh, well, we need their own judicial court within Hollywood to really set a different time, right? Because Louis' case, as much as he was wrong, should it be the same as, Kevin Spacey or this person?
Yes.
Everyone has different actual sentences. They should at least.
Yeah.
And what we do is because of the movement, we bunch everybody into one pile and say, hey, all of you are this. Everybody's LGBTQ and A. It's like, okay, but we all are different things.
Yeah.
And it's unfair to the victims because now everyone's crime is lighter when you group everyone together in a New York Times article. And it's Cosby and it's Charlie Rose and it's Matt Lauer and it's Louis' face because it's a great article of like, look at all these figures. You know how you just work at Jack in the Box? Well, these people that you think are so great are pieces of shit. And it's unfair to the people that are actually victims of this because now everyone's like, it wasn't that bad. It's just Aziz Ansari. They had a bad date. And it's not. If you were in Callen's handle, if you were in Cosby's, you were a victim of a crime. Someone did a crime to you.
Yeah, everybody's.
Do you think that, like, you were just saying that the people feel like Louis C.K. never came out and acknowledged it or anything? Do you feel like he should have to publicly acknowledge it, or what if he just reached out to the victims individually?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he
did apologize.
Yeah,
I guess didn't like it. It was like he said, "I'm sorry that I was in a position of influence, and these people that were a fan of me felt taken advantage by me." And a lot of people were hung up on that one detail that he was like, "Whoa, you found a way to brag about yourself in the apology."
Yeah, I get why they'd be
I also
upset
thought
about
it was
it.
a little avoidant of the I'm sorry. It was a little I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry that you got offended.
Yeah.
It was a little. It was like it was like somebody saying I'm sorry to you is different than somebody saying I'm sorry you feel that
Completely
way.
different.
I'm sorry that you feel that was a crime.
It's very,
So you just
hey,
get with
good
your
work
car.
up there.
Yeah,
you
especially
know?
if you know you, especially if you know you did it, and like,
Hey, you had fun up there.
Hey.
You were up there for a while.
if Louis can definitely acknowledge that he did this, and he's like, oh yeah, I whipped my dick out or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know how you still find yourself to, I'm sorry it made you feel away, versus like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't whip my dick out. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but
for that.
when your story about your crime is ad sponsored, it's very hard to have nuance because we're going for the click.
Wait, his head
Yeah.
ad sponsor?
There's any headline.
New York Times, everything
really?
has Ronan Farrow stories are ad sponsored.
Oh.
Everything is subscription based,
Really
so you want to
weird.
keep people subscribing. So you have to have the most salacious headline, the most salacious detail, and there's no room for nuance once you monetize people's pain. Essentially, is what we're really talking about. At the end of the day, is not someone losing their career. It's someone that had to come out and say this humiliating thing that something they felt shitty, a crime happened to them. They felt taken advantage of. And then these companies will monetize that. And that's the incentive. That's what's really driving, if you ask cancel culture. It's not, people are too sensitive. It's that it's profitable.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it all is clickbaity.
Yeah, it is.
And people, yeah,
Gets
because
us
people don't
talking.
care about if stories are even
I feel
real.
better about my career now because the Louis C.K., who was lauded as the funniest comedian, this god that we could never obtain, and he was mean to me at the Cellar or the one time I met him. Now he's knocked off the mountain. Fuck him.
Yeah.
That's what it gets you. I
Yeah.
feel better about laying around all day.
Yeah. Who's the biggest child star or the most like, man, you really fucking pulled it off? Definitely Leo. I'm trying to think of who's number two. Yeah. Oh.
Or Christian Bale.
Christian Bale,
But
like a
he's like
child
so
star?
psycho. He was a child. Well, he wasn't a star, but he was like a child actor.
He was yeah. Do they have to be a child star, or do
Well,
they just have
Justin
to
Bieber
act
a
as a
child star?
kid?
Oh yeah, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's doing well. I don't think he's doing better than when he was as a kid.
I think he's doing
I
pretty
think
well.
he's doing good.
Okay.
I feel like he was
Only
just.
time
He's
will
doing
tell.
well.
We watched him live
Only
out
time
his
will tell.
adolescence.
Yeah, I think he's doing well. I think he's like,
Okay.
yo, I went over all that shit. I'm good now.
Yeah.
Do you think Bieber seems like really happy?
I think yeah, I think he seems happy. I think that like
I see moments in like the Carpool Karaoke with
Yeah.
James Corden where he's like, "Yeah, whatever, motherfucker, whatever, do whatever to everybody," and I'm like, "Whoa, what's
Yeah.
going on in there, Beeps?"
It does seem like it's
I didn't see
trending
that.
the Lindsay Lohan way a little bit sometimes.
no, Biebs
but-
is not Lindsay Lohan, is he? No.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's on them. It's just like they're a product of their environment.
Yeah.
It's the
But-
people around him. I think she got a bad rap.
I think Biebs gets a bad rap for real.
Okay.
Like, I think he gets like, oh, you're this or you're that. And really, the only thing Justin Bieber did that was wrong was hang out with blacks for 6 years. And that was never anything
This
that
is why he
act-
got arrested in that Ferrari.
Yeah, but yeah, he never did it. It wasn't like he got arrested for a DUI. It was like he hit a paparazzi person who was probably in the fucking way anyway, who was doing
Yeah.
too much. It was like the only thing that people looked at and was like Justin Bieber's losing it was that he was smoking weed with black kids, and they was like that's too much. That same thing happened to Miley Cyrus. She had 4 years when she was doing hip hop music, and they were like, she's losing it, right? It was like, no, you just don't want to see your little white angels next to black kids because it bothers you.
Yeah.
And they're getting they're getting older, and they're just really experiencing what anybody would experience in that position. But it's like, no, Mr. Bieber, and then which is okay for us to say. Once again, it's like a proxy for somebody. So he's growing up, he fucks up a little bit. We go, I don't think so. He comes back, he puts that on purpose. We're like,
Now
we
he's like
you
at
What
now.
has he even
church with
done?
Kanye.
Now-
Now,
yeah, now
you
he's
know,
He doesn't
go to
dressing like
church
a.
with Kanye.
He does. He goes to
Kanye
Sunday
And I
doesn't
think
go
that's
to
a
the same
root for a
church.
lot of men.
Sunday service is not a church.
It's a concert.
It's a
yes,
concert and a
with a
cult.
religious slant. Yeah.
It's a concert and a cult.
But he is like, I do God now, and he dresses like a roofer.
Yeah, that's fair. I dress like him a little bit too.
Justin Bieber, or not Justin Timberlake. The Justins are killing
Oh
it.
yeah,
Justin
Yeah,
Timberlake
Ryan
was a
Gosling,
child.
Justin Timberlake,
Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
that's successful.
Britney Spears
No.
isn't. She's not in necessarily that pocket right
Christina
now.
Aguilera.
No, she's not doing well.
No,
I feel like Christina
her IG
Aguilera.
post
Yes.
bothered me.
It's
Not gonna
bad.
lie.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
don't think so?
Shut up, Chris.
I think she is doing well considered everything that she's had to be put
True.
through.
Yes.
And that's the lens we need to put on people like Lindsay Lohan, and not that these drug coke clubs. Or it's like they are doing great for what they have, but they're not doing well. I don't think they would wish their life on anyone.
Yeah, and that's what I would. I would always say this joke that I wouldn't wish child star on anybody.
Yeah,
I would never wish child star on anybody.
Even
because
Leo.
It's so hard to. Yeah, even Leo.
You dating 23-year-olds still? You're 50.
That's his swag.
You know, is that? but let's go deeper than that.
No, I'm with you.
It's cool, it's hot, but why do you need to be cool and hot? Why do you need to be with someone that's young? Why are you trying to live in 1997?
I think it's a person who legitimately is so much of a person that they're just their method at this point on screen or off screen.
Okay, so you come, right, and you're on your boat. Right? And then now you're talking to someone that's 21 and you're a 50-year-old man. What life are you sharing?
It's not my desire.
After that second that you had look at this hot piece of meat. Now you have to be with this person. That's what most of a relationship is do you connect with this person?
No, I agree with you. I look at a lot of situations within Hollywood and say, man, I don't get it. That's not my thing. Like, I'm not the dude out here being like, yeah, I got to link up with this 18-year-old girl and see what's up. You know, I feel like that might come from a form of abuse in their own, and they don't know how to express themselves or work on different things. And obviously it becomes a cycle of people who were abused become abusers.
Yeah,
and
it can also be the idea of fame, like, kind of just heightens whatever mental thing you already have going on, and then it also can stall you in a time. I feel like with both these people, Britney Spears feels like she's forever a teenager because she became a teenager. That became her identity. You are who you are most famous for.
Yeah.
And now you're a teacher for the rest of your teen.
Leo's famous for being a hot young star.
Yep,
the guy from Titanic.
He is for the rest of his life.
Hot
so
young
now he's
star.
on yacht. He's on yachts.
I'm not limiting him to that.
But
Leo's
how long
my
did it
favorite
take him to
actor
get
of all time?
How long did it
stays on
take him
boats.
to get an Oscar and be taken serious though?
Yeah, but
he had to go be in the mountains and
But that was
follow
for
snow
different
around.
reasons. The Oscars is all about campaigning and also,
Who doesn't have money to campaign?
jerking off.
Leo doesn't have money?
off. Didn't say he didn't have money to do that. I think sometimes, depending on who you are, not saying Leo is the person, not saying I can speak for Leo, but saying that sometimes people get in these situations and some feel as though I don't want to fucking campaign. If my work is good enough, if it is good enough, I don't want to. And it takes them a while to finally realize, hey,
You have to.
these motherfuckers ain't going to give you shit.
Play the
Until
game.
you do that. Play the game a little bit, even a fucking little. Work with us. Let us do this thing for you and we'll get you the Oscar, we promise. Because you could argue for a lot of actors, they'll end up getting their Oscars for not the roles that they deserve it, but for the roles for things that they were owed for in the past.
And there's movies too that they're owed for, and then they purposely make what's called Oscar bait.
For
It's
sure.
No one watched that movie, but you did your movie
For
where
sure.
you played
The
someone.
Post.
Yeah.
The Post. It
Did
has
we
Tom
enjoy
Hanks.
it?
It has
No.
Meryl Streep. It's directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
It must be nominated for an Oscar.
Right.
It's about a historical event.
Is
And
it
I'm glad we're doing a second podcast just in case.
Is it entertaining?
we lost
No,
our
it's
first
important.
one.
Yeah. That is such a trap, because you do need these awards so you could get notoriety and you could sell other films, but the actual movies themselves, with the exception of Parasite, can sometimes be very hard to sit through.
That's true.
What the industry says is good.
Got you both. Before we get out of here, Mount Rushmore of your child stars, go. I'll name mine real quick.
Mount Rushmore of child stars?
Yeah,
wow.
I'm going to go Leonardo DiCaprio,
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
that's it.
That's really good.
But so this doesn't matter if you got through it okay. This is more
Of just who's
because,
important to you?
He
Yeah.
got through it to 55?
Yeah, but he was always
The
living
whole
with
time
the
it
Yeah,
was
for
a mess.
sure, guys. I'm just
That's
saying.
a great example of you
yeah.
got
But
famous
I wonder
here,
how
you
great
never
the
matured
weekend would
on
be
it.
doing if he had Joe Jackson over his back.
But yeah, probably better. But yeah,
Probably be a little better at music. You know what?
Discipline.
He would just snap that belt.
full circle discipline.
Full switch.
Full switch.
Go get the switch, Michael. That was a real line
Tie
in the actual
switch.
movie theater. But no, I feel like Michael Jackson still was somewhat consistent throughout time, which is so hard to do for child star. If you start for that person to continue, Kirk Cameron, for that person to continue to for the rest of their lives being like, oh, I'm still making money. I'm saying Leo.
Is Michael J. Fox a child star?
I'm
or is
saying
he
Michael
a young
Jackson.
star?
I don't know if Michael J. Fox kept making money forever.
Not at the same level.
Yeah,
but that's because of a medical issue.
It is.
And
I'm not trying to
really
take that from him.
industry. Yeah.
But, Derrick Rose had 2 torn ACLs.
Right.
That was because of a medical thing that he wasn't the greatest player of all time.
I feel like Haley Joel Osment feels happy. No? I feel like he's chill.
Okay. That's a Mount Rushmore for you?
No,
Wait,
I
who
just
was that
feel
again?
like he was a really good child.
I See
Haley
Dead
Joel
People.
Osment.
Okay. Oh.
Haley Joel Osment. The
And that's
Sixth
the guy
Sense.
now that he's gotten bigger, but he's in
Yeah.
He's in other movies,
I
and he
fucking
seems
know.
like an
I've seen
actually
him in
well-adjusted person.
Yeah, but
I did
has
a
he been
panel
so
with him. I met him. I
consistent?
saw him on a podcast. I was like, this guy seems pretty
Yeah.
well-adjusted. Seems like, hey, I know I was good at that, and now I just kind of act.
Is
Right,
he a
he's not
child
grasping
star?
on-
Or did he have
he was a star. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
He was
let
almost
me-
nominated
let
for
me
Oscar.
finish, or did he have a moment? Because you can have a moment too and not carry on being a
Bro,
star.
he had AI.
It's like watching porn
He
and
had-
calling every girl you masturbate to a porn star. It's not true. Some of them are porn actors.
In
and
my
some
head,
are
they're
porn
stars. Yeah.
Some are
He
just
had
porn
Pay
actors.
It Forward. He had AI. He had
Yeah.
Sixth Sense.
I've seen AI in Sixth Sense.
He had. There's another Haley
He
Joel
was,
Osment.
yeah.
So then
he was
Jonathan
a
Lipinski
star.
was a child star too.
He was a star. He could sell a movie.
Jonathan Lipnicki. What's
Jonathan
his name?
Lipnicki.
Lipinski.
Lipinski.
Jonathan Lipnicki. He
Lipnicki.
got
Is it
real buff.
Lipnicki? Is Lipnicki?
yeah.
He lived in the building with me. I didn't know his name. But
I don't know what
he
Jonathan
had Stuart Little.
Lipnicki's
He
murder-
had
Jerry
Jerry
Maguire.
Maguire. Those are 2 arguably huge films. And
Is he also the Liar Liar kid?
I think he is actually.
No, Liar Liar. The Max.
That's the other
Yeah,
kid?
I like how every 90s movie was about divorce because everyone's parents were going through a divorce in the 90s.
That's true. It is
Right?
true.
You couldn't escape it. Even if you wanted to watch a Jim Carrey dumb
That is
slapstick
true.
comedy, they had to hit you with a divorce storyline.
That's real.
Max.
I'm just saying.
That's a different kid.
Fucking.
He was in the
Doubtfire.
Home Alone Bring Back, the one that didn't work.
Oh, you're right. Damn.
Justin Cooper is Max.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe it's not
Oh,
Home Alone
Cooper.
Kid. But,
I think you're right.
then Home Alone Kid. What's his face?
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
He had to
That's
come
gotta
back
be
this
mine.
year. He walked in Gucci, but I didn't see. He hasn't. He kind of went off the face of the earth for reasons, for his
Yeah.
own personal reasons, and he do what he wants to. But I'm saying like, why is they going in and out? Oh, that's you doing it. Okay. No, I'm saying like, I'm saying MJ, Leo, Drew Barrymore. I'm gonna go those 3 on my Mount Rushmore.
We're missing a huge one.
You know it,
That is such an iconic child star and then nothing else.
but there's nothing
Jonathan
else.
Taylor
Thomas. Yeah.
No one is more solidified as a child star than that, because it wasn't just he was in movies like Haley Joel Osment. It was like, this is a hot kid.
Yeah,
It's
hot
so
kid.
weird.
It's so.
JTT
Tiger
was
Beat.
also rocking. He was rocking television with Home
Yeah.
Improvement. He was rocking
He left
movies.
TV. He burned Tim Allen so he could go do movies.
And then he was rocking the animation world. He was fucking Simba.
the voice
Yeah,
of
hey,
Simba.
hey, as a black man, I have to stand up and say Jason Weaver sang all of Simba's parts, and he was a child star, and they let Jonathan Taylor Thomas white voice him and come over and speak over him
Yeah.
and be Simba. It broke my heart.
yeah,
I knew Jonathan Taylor.
it was the heartthrob machine.
Who, Jonathan Taylor?
No,
Thomas?
just the machine that made the heartthrobs work was
yeah.
like, this kid's out of there. JTT's the lead now.
The
He's-
grossest things happened to him. The way to prop him up, have happened in that level. And then as far as like kids coming out to just public appearances, like what TikTokers are doing now was built by JTT. There would be these events
Wow.
where he would just come out at a mall.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't sing or anything. He would just
Really?
wave, and it was like, what? Yeah, it's like, it's like what MadCon is now.
I remember him being
It's like a
huge.
meetup, essentially.
I didn't know he was just out here just
and
like
it was just like,
pulling
he's
up.
hot. He's just like a hot kid.
Yeah, and then Michael Jackson co-signed him.
Yeah.
What was it Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin.
No, you got Macaulay
No,
Culkin.
Michael Jackson
He
co-signed
co-signed
Macaulay.
Macaulay Culkin, yeah.
I can't believe you guys are not mentioning the Olsen twins.
But they didn't keep going forever.
But no, they
Wow,
they
But
bowed
child
out
star.
though. They left on
Yeah.
their own.
They were
I-
big.
and
And then they did the
child
fashion
stars.
I fuck
thing.
with
They
them.
were
I fuck
huge.
with
I
them.
was part of
Yes.
the Olsen Twin fan club.
That
is
I
Mount
used to
Rushmore.
get their books and their posters in the mail.
And their movies?
And
Do
their
they
movies.
get one slot on Mount
They get
Rushmore?
one slot.
One
Sure.
side- is it
One
both of their
slot.
faces or just half each of face?
Half
put
of each.
together?
I like
Okay,
that.
that's fair.
And then Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh.
That's
Do
like
you
a
consider
child
him a
star.
child?
But that's not even child star. That's
He
Harry
was
Potter.
a child.
Yeah, 'cause
Harry
he
Potter.
didn't do anything else though. Like as a child. These other children were working in other things.
I guess.
And that's
He was just like,
Harry
I'm
Potter.
just Harry Potter.
Being Harry Potter is a
there
lot of
wasn't
work.
really a Daniel Radcliffe fandom as much as there was a Harry,
Harry
Potter.
Potter.
Yeah, nobody
fandom.
cared about
Right.
Daniel.
All right,
Which
I'll
was a
stick with
good
just the
move by
Olsen
Daniel
twins.
Radcliffe,
Yeah.
really.
That was my vote. The Olsen
Right.
twins.
But there's like photo shoots of Jonathan Taylor Thomas in like just jeans. And that was the thing that sold magazines.
Who is
Oh,
Jonathan
yeah.
Taylor
wild.
Thomas?
From Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
The guy with the hair,
If I show you the
They all
face,
have
you
it.
would
the
know
blonde
it.
one, or the
No,
brunette?
he
Kind of.
was the middle boy.
long middle part. You're probably thinking.
I'm trying to think what else was he even fucking really in like that. I only saw Home
He was
Improvement.
Jingle
just
All the
in
Way.
the 90s. He was just in the 90s.
Yeah, he
That's-
was.
He was starring
was.
in the 90s.
He was starring
Yeah.
in the 90s.
He was
Posters.
on my
Yeah.
sister's wall.
Yes.
And like I
You know
remember
who he is?
in
Yeah, I remember him.
like on the mirror. When
I'll
I
Be
would
Home
come
for
to
Christmas.
take a
I
shower.
loved that movie.
I'll be home.
Okay.
For
Never
Christmas.
seen it.
That was so
That's
good.
also his like
You never
comeback.
saw that? That
When
was
he's
so
like
comeback.
good.
A 17
Man of the
year old.
House. I
Yeah.
didn't see that one. Tom and Huck.
Tom and Huck.
No.
Recently, Last Man Standing.
Oh.
Okay.
That's the new Tim
Kim
Allen
Allen
thing? So he
show.
Yeah,
came
so
back?
he came
into
back
Oh, he
burn
came
Tim
back
Allen
for
again?
that? My son's back here.
Pinocchio. I saw Pinocchio. Walking Across Egypt. 8 Simple Rules.
No. See, I wasn't a huge
Yeah.
fan. I knew him from Home Improvement and Lion King. And that's kind of where I maxed out.
Who's in
Yeah.
Jungle the Jungle? Is that a different boy?
I thought that was
Jonathan
also
Taylor.
Jonathan
yeah,
Taylor
that's
Thomas.
a
What
new
is
hot
Jungle
boy
to
that was
Jungle?
riding off of Jonathan. There was this boy who lives in the jungle. It's a little offensive. And then he moves to Manhattan. And Manhattan's, I say this, it's a concrete jungle.
Oh, I remember
And he's
this
got to
movie.
like learn how to be in New York, but he's peeing in
So
plants.
it's Tim Allen, Sam Huntington.
Ooh,
That's
Sam
where is Sam
Huntington.
Huntington now? Where is
Yeah.
he now?
That's like
Where
an
is he
Eric
now?
Von Detten category.
Yeah.
You know?
He
Sam
did
Huntington-
not another teen movie.
Okay.
Being Human was his most recent. Oh wait, Good Girls. He's been on Good Girls.
And what year is Good Girls?
2000. I mean, it doesn't say the exact year. I guess maybe he's been in and out. 2018 to 2021.
I mean, I think it sounds
I
like a
think that's
difficult life.
I'll be
Yeah.
real with you. Jonathan Taylor Thomas didn't even do shit. I'm looking at his no, not like
Yeah.
that. He did stuff,
But
obviously.
overall, yes.
Overall, he.
But that's
he
what I
didn't
mean about the star.
deserve
Well, it's like if you
Any
think
of
about
this
how
stardom.
big.
The machine
It
propped
is.
him
It's
up.
crazy. I'm
Well,
reading it. I'm like, damn, he didn't.
He
really
starred
do
in the
anything.
90s.
Think about
He
how
did.
big Hanson was.
Yeah.
Can you name more
I
than
remember
one
Hanson.
Hanson
Oom
song?
Bop, that's it.
No, you can only name
I
one
said that. I
Hanson
said
Yeah.
song.
Oom Bop. That's it.
I
And
remember
for
what
some
their
reason,
cassette,
they
like,
had a
tape
bigger
looked
piece of
like.
real estate
I got a
in
plot
pop
twist here.
culture.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they were cute or if they just were like
They just had
boys
hair.
with long hair.
They just had long hair, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It was before, and it spoke to a wide group of people.
Yeah.
We didn't have trans people in the conversation yet. So maybe it spoke to you
They
on
look
that level.
different.
If you were like, I don't like these aggro guys. I like something in between. That was the one safe
Yeah,
way
because
that
they
you
were
can
during
have
a
it.
time of like the Backstreet Boys and
Yeah.
NSYNC, and they looked completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. They were younger too.
Were they?
One of them was a little older, but there was two like younger.
My
Yeah.
neighbor had
Also,
a huge crush on them.
Plot twist: Jonathan Taylor Thomas played Macaulay Culkin in 2 sketches in Living Color.
That's funny.
It's pretty cool.
That seems like a vendetta thing. That seems like a fuck you move.
No, it was before. It was 91. He wasn't even on yet.
Okay.
He hadn't done Home Improvement, Lion King.
Are they not the
anything.
same age? Like,
No,
seems
they're
like
not.
he lost a part to him. And I was like, I'll show you.
Oh no,
I
you're
don't
saying it
think
was
he-
his breakout role was playing a parody of what he became? Like, is
Maybe.
that kind of what you're saying?
No, I'm
Get
saying
off
he
of me.
played him in Living Color.
Right, but like before he was known, he played Macaulay Culkin.
So Macaulay Culkin is 41. Jonathan Taylor Thomas should be around the same age, huh?
He should be like 37.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he is. He's 34.
Mm.
Yeah, so he's a little younger. So yeah, I think he just played it genuinely of like, oh, I'm getting casted to play Macaulay Culkin because I look like a
Yeah.
child star. And
Right.
he didn't know
Right,
it yet. I'm a
right.
child star. But yeah,
Wow.
that was it.
Well, we
That
did
was
it.
it. We
That's
did it.
important.
Hopefully,
All the important thing in this show.
hopefully we have a full podcast and
Yeah.
not just a small part about child stars. But there's a chance that
I like
we
how
just
this,
have a
if
small
this is
part
what I
about
became
child
famous
stars.
for, it's just this last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just
You are
that.
what you're famous for.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, Moses.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody, check out Trash White
on HBOMax, streaming
we loved
now.
it. Please stream it. Yes.
Will anything else you want to say? You want to get people to subscribe to your paid Instagram?
No, not even. I just want people to watch that. I've spent 2 years putting every ounce of my soul into that. I built the set. It's the first thing I co-directed, edited. So everything has gone into that. So if you hate it, it's entirely my fault. And if you like it, some of it is my fault.
Congrats again, dude.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, dude.
What a night.
Hell yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, zip it up.
Zip it out.
Hey, bye.
It feels like that was the first time you were trying Zip It Out. Zip It Out. Yeah, Zip It Out. That feels all right.